Welcome to just us talking about whatever we want and maybe conspiracies. Because we have been accused of spreading disinformation, dangerous disinformation. So, therefore, we are here to remind you of some other disinformations because why not?
We're going to corner the market on disinformation.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little ridiculous by now. People come like, what are you here for, like a dissertation? We're not
Maybe.
presenting now. So anyways, so we're here to offer disinformation and just hang out. Do you have any new conspiracies that we haven't covered yet that you want to go over? Not the Kurt Cobain thing.
I'm just saying, I can go through that crime scene like in reverse. I can do like the Patrick Jane flashback kind of thing. Like that's how clear of a picture I could paint. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, no, like in terms of like the food thing, that's something I've gotten into a bit more. Like I've been watching a lot of like health nutrition videos, picking through different things, kind of like even kind of like enhancing my own kind of regime, things that I thought I had with it. And I've been like using like the Twitter AI, you know, Grok, basically kind of like Twitter's version of AI, or X, I should call it. Muskie's AI, basically. And like I said, been using that to kind of like basically crack out the numbers in terms of like, for example, let's say, oh, if you're taking fish oil, are you taking enough fish oil? Because it's not actually the fish oil that you want, it's like the EDH or EDA and DPA or something like that. Things to it as well, so making sure I have that. So kind of like even with my own thing, this is kind of modified my own diet to it as well. But what I've found is that like the carnivore diet, I don't know if you've heard about that.
Of course. You're talking to me about health stuff and you think that's new? Go on.
I'm just saying, like, just in terms of like the carnivore seems to have a lot of kind of like benefits, particularly for people like I said that were on that highly processed, at like 80%, 90% processed food diet. Like for them, because you're kind of going back all the way just to like protein, all that kind of stuff, it seems to cut out a lot of the inflammation symptoms that around that and all that kind of thing for them. Like that's one thing that I'm gonna explore as well, because I was kind of doing something similar to carnivore, but just with peanuts. Actually, this would be a good thing to go by. So like my main thing was about somewhere between 200 to 400 grams of peanuts a day,
Oh
and
my
then
gosh.
mix that with multivitamin, and then the fish oil. So kind of have the full health there. But like I said, what's missing from that diet, Kat?
Okay, the thing about peanuts is it depends on, are you getting the peanuts yourself and mushing them? Are you getting them pre-bought? Are you going to one of those health food stores where they... What happened? Are you showing me your peanuts?
Do you mind if I put my nuts on screen?
Sure. Go. What is this? What are
So
the
yeah, like
ingredients?
it's just peanuts. So basically peanuts, then it's cooked in like rapeseed oil and salted.
So like the worst oil, okay. You know that peanuts can make their own oil, right?
Yeah, well, like this is kind of like mass produced in Ireland kind of
Yeah.
thing. But like I said, it's like been what, like at least a couple years, like that at least being the main
Okay.
kind of aspect of the diet. But like I said,
Okay.
it's I've kind of pushed it through in terms of the AI as well, and kind of hammered down like what like vitamins or minerals that am I missing, what phytonutrients. Although that's kind of like basically kind of like brand new in terms of like the trying to track all that kind of shit. But yeah, like in terms of like just the overall kind of thing, in terms of macros, you're getting your fat from like plant fat rather than like animal fat and all that, or plant protein as well versus animal protein. But like the stuff on the carnivore diet and like the results and all that kind of shit will kind of suggest that the animal protein is better. Like what are your thoughts on
Yeah,
the
for
animal versus
sure.
plant?
For sure. Oh. It's like comparing, like, is this shoe better to eat or is this piece of meat better to eat? Like, it's just like, One of them is just not food. Like, okay, this is my thing on food. And of course, here's my disclaimer. I am not a medical professional, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. Listen to me at your own risk. And this is called disinformation, so don't come at me. But in my opinion, I would not have any peanuts ever. Just because it's one of the most moldy. It's like, it's not even is it a nut? It's like, it's moldy. It's in the ground. When they process it, it's usually filled with mold. There's no getting around that, unless you told me that you were growing peanuts in your yard and you were harvesting themselves and immediately like processing them on your own. Then I would say, sure, eat all the peanuts you want to eat. Is it healthy? No.
Well, what example would you counter in terms of like nutrition, or kind of like in terms of like health, like a counter food, let's say, to peanuts?
What is a counter food? Okay, okay. You're just basically eating a bunch of mold and fiber, right?
But like, why are peanuts mold? Because like, bear in mind, like if you want to put minerals into the ground, like if you, let's say you had a barren stretch of land, the
Okay,
best thing to do is to grow peanuts.
okay.
That'll fertilize
That's
the
fine and everything. It's just that you're not growing the peanuts. You have no idea what's in that land.
Yeah, but it's Irish land. You know what I'm saying? Like, these farms are some of the best
For
farms
how
in
much
all across Europe.
longer?
Which it's
I don't
very,
know.
very, very nutrient dense soils across like Leinster is the main patch.
Is that where the peanuts come from? Or you just
Yeah,
hope?
Leinster.
You sure that is it made in Ireland? Does it say that?
Yes, Manhattan peanuts made in Ireland, 100% Irish, baby.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, I mean, fine. I still don't think it's that great, but for a snack,
But like this is what I'm saying. Like, I think like we need more kind of like
peasant
kind
food.
no, not pets, because like I'm saying, like like I spend like what I think like 600 quid. No, actually, no. At the moment, it's about 1,200. But once I move down to the cheaper version of the peanuts, then it'll be like 600 quid a year on food. That is like crazy savings, because like I said, most people I know will easily spend like 5, 6, 7 grand on food easy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that is a vast, like you're saving 5 grand a year at least. You know what I mean? So there's that aspect to it. And like I said, this is kind of part of my whole kind of like video that I want to do, where it's like breaking down kind of like doing the kind of like being the wealthy minded while not having the wealth yet. You know what I mean? Like having that kind of instilled wisdom of kind of
Do
like,
you think that wealthy people are like trying to decide what's like a better food, peanuts or something else?
yes, in
No.
terms of cost, like I said, cost analysis. God, you know what I'm saying? Because
I
like I
mean,
said,
okay, but if you're wealthy, then you wouldn't have to worry about saving money.
no, like I said, wealth is a mentality. You know what I'm saying? It's
But I
like
mean, are you wealthy if you're eating peanuts to survive?
yes, because you have more money to play around with in the markets. And then like I said, there's going to be a whole kind of investment video that I want to be able to do and all that kind of shit. But like I said, like the whole kind of like diet plays a massive role in your whole kind of system. And like I said, the carnivore diet is another thing in terms of like your basic kind of focusing on basically fat and protein as your main fuel source rather than carbohydrates, which is the main problem, because carbs causes a lot of inflammation and a lot of like the sicknesses and illnesses that we see nowadays is
Okay.
basically inflammation. Do you know what I mean?
So let's get into that. Carbs are not this bad thing. Like we've had bread forever. Like I'm not saying, okay, listen to this. The problem we have now is they hybridize the wheat, so it has more gluten than ever, right? That's first issue. The second issue with wheat is it's not a regenerative farm, so it's nutrient depleted like land. That's not that big a deal everywhere, but let's say that was all okay. But then you have that it's GMO in a lot of places. And so that's going to make your gut irritated, because anything that is genetically modified so that other like insects eat it and then their stomachs explode will not have the immediate effect on us, but eventually will cause stomach issues, leaky gut, gut permeability, basically. And that leads to full systemic inflammation. Then you're going to have bloating. Then you're going to have issues digesting anything. And then when you, let's say you eat something like that, like a GMO piece of bread first, you go to a restaurant, GMO wheat bread, eat that. Now you have gut permeability and inflammation. You're not going to be able to digest properly everything that you eat in that meal after that piece of bread. But we used to have something called like heirloom wheats, which is just wheat before they mess it up. And we used to have sourdough bread. It was the most traditional way to make bread. We would have a culture and just keep it alive and use it to make our bread. Sourdough fermentation, natural bread has vitamins, minerals, like probiotics, prebiotics. It has all of that stuff. It's high fiber. It's got, I don't even know how, but it's got some protein. It's got a little bit of everything. It's a really nutrient dense food. You cannot compare that to what they call bread in the grocery stores. What we have in the grocery stores is highly processed junk, pesticide, GMO, with fillers and gums and toxic oils. They add sugar in America. I don't know if they add sugar over there in the bread. Do they? What are you looking at?
Yeah, it's basically I'm trying to
Whoa,
look up
whoa, whoa, whoa,
sourdough
whoa,
bread
whoa,
so I
whoa.
can do it across.
You're loud.
But how about now? Test.
Yeah, better.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up sourdough bread. I don't know how to spell it.
Wow.
On my like nutrition calculator thing.
It's right there
But
on the screen.
sour, yeah, that's how we spelled it, but it's not coming up. Is there another name for it? Maybe
What
shortcake.
nutrition calculator? Because wouldn't it just be like what it is now? I mean, what do you mean?
Like basically like this thing. Actually, can I share a screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Tab. I think this might work. Does it work? Yep, perfect. So it's basically you can like type in like any kind of food. So it's like if we're to do, let's say, ribeye, nice ribeye steak. You know what I'm saying? Going for that carnivore diet, you can basically click compare, and it'll basically break down like all kind of the vitamins, the minerals, all that kind of stuff that's in the food. And if you look at like this is the mineral comparison, like what your daily needs is and all that, like peanuts on the left is just insane for the amount of minerals that you get. And then even comparing it to something as like steak and all that kind of stuff as well. The one thing is the selenium, which is like pretty important, but you can get that, you can supplement that, or even just like I said, have peanuts and ribeye steak. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, Kat? So we're kind of mix and matching maybe. But then also vitamins as well. That's why like I need to take a multivitamin because you're not hitting the A, K, B12,
You need
well,
to have
basic all
liver.
things. The what?
Liver. Eat liver.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying as well. Like organ meat as well is very good for getting things like minerals and all that kind of stuff out of it as well. But this is just a good way of breaking down kind of like any kind of like foods to see like what's in them or kind of like in terms of nutrients, minerals, all that. But it's a general thing, as you said. The more fertile the ground, the more minerals that's going to be in the food and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, like you can I think fillet as well. You get different cuts. You even do like McDonald's food and all that kind of stuff as well, so you can see the
Ew.
comparison. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. But it's good to have that so you can see, let's say, an actual like fillet of fish versus a McDonald's fillet of fish and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So
I
different
mean,
things like
that
that.
might, okay, it might show you like what's in terms of nutrients or whatever, but it's not going to tell you don't eat this. It's full of fillers and they're going to, do this and do that to you. It's not going to say that.
Yeah, but if we're, for example, if we were to go McDonald's, so if we go McDonald's fillet of fish versus just we go salmon.
This isn't even a real comparison.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, for example, like you could do kind of like just compare it, because like you'll see the difference in, let's say, the minerals and all that. So
If
it's
you
like,
want like a good diet to save money, I got one.
what do you got?
Okay, so
'Cause
you need to.
that's what we need.
Okay, so perfect. So the highest amount of protein per meal, obviously, it's hard to get meat for every meal. So instead of every meal, you can do sardines.
Okay.
A sardines can is going to have maybe like 20 to 22 grams of protein. And it's going to be super high in omega-3, so you don't have to take your fish oil. So
Are
that's
we
going to save
talking?
you.
I'll just do sardine straight up.
Can of sardine.
Oh yeah. I look at the selenium, calcium, iron, potassium. Oh no, what's that? That's phosphorus. But yeah, like a lot of minerals, and then vitamins as well. You're getting a lot of vitamin D from that as well. B12, you're getting a lot of vitamin B12 from that too. Like that's the thing. Like there's a lot of kind of like fish, particularly as well. And then with fish, you're also getting fish oil from that as a byproduct, so you don't have to take,
Yeah.
really
The only
fish
thing
oil.
with sardines is you can only have 1 can a day because you don't want to have too much heavy metals. So if you just keep it at 1 can a day, you can process it out. You do too much, it's harder.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure there's some other reason with sardines got to do with it. Like I'm pretty sure that it has its. I don't know if I don't think it displays like things like fish oil here, but it, like in terms of like your daily amount, I think can of sardines. Yeah, I'm pretty sure can of sardines. I'm pretty sure I'm not getting mixed up with any other fish names, but yeah, it's like basically like the kind of the very oily kind of thing. But like I
Yeah,
said, you're getting your omega like fish oils with that, and that's really good for your heart as well. Anything else? Like, is it just generally sardines is the diet, or
sardines, and I will get ground beef from like a local farm in bulk. So if you have like a freezer that you don't put anything else in, you can just get a whole bunch and it's much cheaper.
are you talking about 70% lean, 30%, or 20?
I get the
35?
leanest one.
So I think this is.
I think it's like maybe 10% or something. Fat what?
Yeah, I don't think it goes any lower than, maybe if we try.
Well, it doesn't matter. The point is, yeah, that's what I get.
Yeah, it's like I said, kind of like selenium is the main thing that I'd be lacking, but there was a
Okay, but you
multi-mineral
have
as well.
your ground beef for dinner, your sardines for breakfast or lunch. You get some pastured eggs, and let's see what else. For dinner, I mean for breakfast, you probably need some more protein. So I don't know, a piece of other meat. Chicken's
But
probably cheaper.
like, what would your thoughts be on intermittent fasting then?
Do you need to lose weight? We're talking about losing weight or maintaining.
I'm just talking about for longevity, across the board kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Longevity, you should probably fast at least once a week, but not every day.
Like do you not read up on the OMAD? I think it's called 1 meal a day.
1 meal a day. Yeah. The thing with that, like for women, of course, you'll die. You'll lose your period. You won't be able to reproduce. You'll get super high cortisol and you'll become super obese if you do eat again. So, not good for women. And for men, long term use, it's not good because you'll start to lower your metabolic rate. So, then it'll process stuff more slowly. You're not going to see the benefits. You need to do fasting as like, I'm going to do it for 2-3 days in a row, and then I'm going to go back. You don't want to make fasting your life because then if you eat a little bit extra 1 week or something, you go on vacation, it's going to be a lot harder to go back to your previous weight. It has to be a shock. You don't want it to be like, And okay, fasting from 8 p.m. until noon, like that, if you're like a guy, that's probably okay. But if you're a girl, I would switch it up so that you're doing it. You stop eating by sunset. Sunset, you really want to stop eating, especially for women and hormones. If you're a man, it can be like a little bit, just start eating later.
It's like for me personally, like I always do the 1 meal a day because like just in terms of like time, all that kind of stuff, efficiency, and particularly with the peanuts as well, you don't even need to cook. Just saying, like a
So
very
wait,
efficient lifestyle.
your meal is peanuts?
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. Oh, and I also have my fish oils, and I have my multivitamins. Also getting the multi-mineral into me as well. And then I have a probiotic as well.
Oh my gosh.
Not sponsored, by the way. But yeah, like
No.
like I said, kind of you have your kind of baseline kind of covered with the multivitamin and then the fish oil as well. And then all because like basically peanuts have like a lot of fat, plant protein, not a lot of carbs into it, and the only the carbs that it does have is like mainly fiber as well. So it's basically kind of like what I ended up on in terms of the what's called, like, because I had like stomach issues before and all that stuff, and then like when I switched to peanuts, it was like I was like I'm not having any pains, don't nothing like that, and then I was kind of getting into the whole kind of before that I had fasting, and then I was like doing the fasting, but I was doing like eating whatever you want, and then I think that eventually kind of got to my gut microbiome kind of shit, and that's what disrupted that. But ever since the peanuts, it's been amazing, you know what I mean? But like I said, I want to try the carnivore as well. Just go into kind of like got basic order. I think 6 or 7 steaks, ribeye. Well, actually, no, about 14 steaks in total because it's like double packs. So I have a lot of ribeyes to get through this next week. Yeah, I'll be able to update you on that as well.
Okay, so I'm horrified, so I'm gonna ask my husband to come and give you non-medical advice because I think you're gonna die. Because if you eat peanuts every day, you're gonna be dead. Maybe like for a little while.
I've been doing this for 2 years.
Oh my gosh. Have you checked your bone density?
Yeah. Like I said, I've never felt better. But like, look at these genetics. Do you know what I'm saying? Or look at my skin. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason why my skin is this good, Kat. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god. So you hold on, he's here. Let me get him plugged in. And you tell him what you told me.
I feel as though like I've committed like a Geneva war crime at the moment.
Okay. Non-medical advice. Just tell him
for shits and giggles.
Just tell him what you said.
So basically, like I have a multivitamin. I have my fish oils. You know, just to say. But on top of that, basically all I eat is like between 200 grams to 400 grams of peanuts a day.
Why would you do that?
Firstly, it's extremely cheap, but it's like it was the only food that I found that like got rid of like all like stomach pain and all that shit.
Okay.
For 2 years.
For 2 years.
He's still alive.
That's all you ate? Nothing else?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. You know, I heard about a peanut diet where all they eat is just peanuts, but they boil them. They don't roast them. And
yeah, like I have like a box of basically here, you know, but basically kind of like oil roasted and salted. Then eat like obviously salt, retained water, all that kind of shit. But yeah, like I just kind of like ended up on that because it was kind of like a lot of like the same stuff like Kurt Cobain. Ironically enough, to bring him back into the conversation is like because he had like stomach issues as well, so it was like the same thing. Like no matter what I ate, it just seemed to always be like pain to get through. And then eventually I just kind of end up on the peanuts. I can also eat like beef as well, like the steak and all that stuff. But it's like obviously peanuts are a lot cheaper, so it's like it got to that stage of kind of like what was the cheapest diet I could possibly make based on the peanuts, and then from there we got to this diet. Do you know what I mean?
He's
I mean, do you have any other health issues that have come up as a result?
No, like that's what I'm saying. Like a basic kind of like since then, like I've kind of like naturally just like lost weight, felt more kind of like
I'll bet.
productive and all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? So, but again, like my diet before that was like processed foods, all that kind of stuff. So basically, any change up in diet, like that's a large portion of this as well. I was trying to say with the yeah, I'm 100% serious, guys. This is what I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is just like what I've naturally been doing, yeah,
Very
peanut
natural.
mixing. But yeah, that was my whole kind of thing. Because like my brother went like vegan, so like, he eats basically like a lot of soy and all that kind of stuff. So, like, yeah. So it's like he like that was my kind of counter to it because he's like, yeah, plant fat and plant protein is the best forms. But then, like I said, I kind of went down the peanut route, but I still eat meat. Like I'm not like crazy vegan like him kind of thing. But like I said, it's just like for me, it's kind of like it's cheap. I don't even need to cook. It's like I said, it's plant fat. It's supposed to be at least nutritious. I weigh. I think what was it like? One sec. I'll be able to weigh myself because there's a thing downstairs. But I think it's like either 60 or 80. I can't remember which one. Go back.
Okay.
Do you think he's going to survive? Do you think he's nuts?
There's a certain point.
I mean, we used to like, didn't you ever eat ramen noodles to survive?
Me? No.
Or, when you were a poor college kid, how did you survive?
I ate meat. I ate vegetables like I always do. I just cut my intake in half. That's why it became so thin.
Yeah. Well,
it was stupid. Should have kept my protein up. Still regret that. But that's nuts.
There's always a, you can still.
What?
Nothing.
Yeah, about 68 kilograms.
68 kilograms, which is in pounds.
Oh, one sec. I'll do the conversions. So, AG2. Is it LBS, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so about 150 pounds. And then I'm like 5'8".
150? That seems low.
Can you see your ribs?
What?
Can we see your ribs?
No,
are you emaciated?
Can you see your ribs?
No, like in terms of, like I still have like a bit of pooch, a bit of fat left there as well. Oh. But like I said, like it was like a very bad diet, like mostly just like ordered food, processed food, and all that stuff. So it's like a bit of fat and then like a bit of the loose skin as well. But like I said, it's kind of part of the like the intermittent fast as well. As like I'll try to do at least once a year where I'll do like an extended fast for maybe a week. But again, like maybe 5 days is kind of like usually the kind of cut off for that as well, because you don't want to over push it kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Then you go back on the peanuts.
Yes.
Back on peanuts, yeah. And then like I said, sometimes incorporate steak into that as well. I tried going back onto the processed food because I seen that BBC documentary and I wanted to test the the addiction thing. And that was one thing where I was kind of like cravings come back. What?
Didn't that guy die that did the experiment? He died.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Supersize Me?
No. This was like a BBC one, but it was a similar kind of prospect to what he was doing.
He will die.
Yeah, he will. Give him a chance.
Yeah. But like, no, he like as soon as he stopped doing he basically cut out all processed foods. I think beforehand he was doing 20. Now he doesn't do any processed. But like I said, like when you look at the brain activity, that's the crazy shit. It's like all the stuff they're putting into it, like all these chemicals. Based like a crack addict in terms of brain activity. Do you know what I mean? So, like I said, it's kind of like to go back and test it and to see like that there is that kind of cravings. It's like, damn man, like it actually is true. But again, like I said, it's just this is just anecdotes more so not else. Damon's in the chat. Okay, here we go.
No, my question is: are you taking any like omega-3s, like fish oil?
Yeah, I have. Fish oil here, and that's 180 EPA and then 120 milligrams of DHA.
Okay, how many of those do you take?
One.
Or you should take a whole lot more than that, because
what?
Okay, so you got peanuts are omega-6s.
Okay.
And they actually convert very readily into arachidonic acid.
Oh,
Some people
okay.
convert it more than others, and arachidonic acid is highly inflammatory. So you're giving yourself inflammation. If you have any autoimmunity in your family, then you may end up having issues with autoimmunity coming up. How old are you?
30.
Please not to be exact.
30.
You're 30?
Yeah.
You'll be okay until 35, and then, shit's going to hit the fan. It might hit it physically, if you sneeze too hard, but when you're younger, you have a lot of minerals that are stored in your bone, which you'll start leaching out if you're not getting your magnesium. So you got to look for the supplements that what you normally get in your food and try to replace them with nutrients. So you need magnesium, otherwise you're going to pull it from your bones. You need calcium.
But I have that. Like the graph on the left. I don't know if Cat's not really showing it, but like it has like peanuts have a lot of minerals in them already.
He's getting all.
Okay. So do you see what you do? Poop, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see nuts in your poop?
No.
You see no peanuts.
No.
In your poop. Are you
it's
doing them so thoroughly?
Yeah.
You spend like several minutes.
Yes.
Oh.
Like to the base, it's kind of like paste.
Wait, hang on a second. Sorry, you asking if he spends several minutes looking at his poop to make sure that there's like
I thought doing.
Teriak, you need to get one of those fine-tooth combs and go through your shit to make sure.
Well,
no.
I'm going to be switching to carnivore, so like the next couple of days it's literally going to be like explosive diarrhea.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
You know why? If you don't have any fiber to slow down the bile from going through your system, it's going to hit your large intestine. And you're going to be sprinting for it's not that you're sick from the meat. It's just that the cells of your large intestine are just not used to that amount of bile that's going to be flowing through.
It's going to be hilarious, to say the least.
Line your gut, dude. Line your gut.
Yeah, like I have the peanuts there just in case things get a bit fun. But like I said, it's in terms of like the minerals, at least in terms of the peanuts have, like in terms of, like I said, 2 years. But I'm fully accepting that like maybe like in 5 years time, shit goes down the drain kind of thing. But so far, it seems to be working out.
I mean, when they do laboratory studies of things like peanuts, they grind them into as fine a powder as possible, because peanuts they have a lattice work. If you look at some of the studies on peanuts, they have a lattice work of calcium that holds the proteins in place, which is why people that don't chew them quite as well as you do, because you apparently really enjoy your peanuts.
They're good food.
Nuts in your mouth. I mean, you really like to. Anyway, so that's why I think it's a lot of the stuff that they say is in peanuts is you're not getting as much, so you probably are eating more. So maybe you do get good amount. I mean, I don't know enough about the importance of peanuts. I usually avoid them, and I hope you don't have mold in your peanuts like we do over here.
No, like I said, like ours is kind of pretty, like European is kind of pretty rigorous with their kind of regulations and shit. Like there's a lot of chemicals, for example, you can put in American food that you can't put or won't be allowed to be sold in Europe. There's that aspect to it. But like if you're like a doctor like that, like that's the one person like I'd love to actually kind of research into this or see like what is kind of going on with it. I think, like I said, it's kind of more kind of like weird or wacky diets is what we need, because the ultra processed foods is literally fucking poison,
Okay, if you're comparing junk food to eating peanuts, the peanuts would be better. Yes. But we're not comparing an apple to an orange here. We're comparing junk with junk. You have better junk, you know, and you got not so good junk. Yeah, it's all, to me. It's also any mono
Diet.
not mono diet, including meat, carnivore only. It is. I don't think anyone should be doing just a mono diet. Also, it's incredibly boring. I did carnivore. It was boring for like 3 months.
Wasn't it like 3 days?
No, it was 3 months. I did a full, college try. If that's
Yeah, I think
means
that
anything.
those things are only good for like almost like if you look at workout programs, you've got certain workout programs that are like insane, but those are meant to be like that's not supposed to be something you do your whole life. That's supposed to be like a conditioning thing. Like you do it for 6 months and that's it. You go back to normal routine. So I think some of those diets are okay if you do it for like 6 months as like a conditioning thing, and then you go back to something more sustainable.
Yeah.
But like, remember, like Jordan Peterson, I think is like 7 years now at this stage. He's been doing is eating beef.
And he looks great, doesn't he?
Have you seen him?
Have you
His
seen him?
situation's different.
Hold on, let me pull him up.
His situation was different though, like because that guy's got so many fucking problems.
But like it was like for him, I think it's like the autoimmune thing that like it's like it runs in the family. So like that was kind of like for him to
Because
even get to that
his
stage.
daughter was nearly. I mean, he was in a medically induced coma for a while, and his daughter nearly died as well. So
Sure, you had the benzo addiction that you need to go to rehab for as well, I think. But
yeah, that was
I've said
because
it.
of the pain that he was on, that they put him on that medication management.
But it goes to show like how much symptoms and like serious symptoms in terms of depression, like brain fog, all that kind of stuff comes from your gut. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there needs to be, like I said, I'm an extreme case. I understand that. Do you know what I mean? I would not recommend anyone to go on this diet. But like I said, I'm willing to make that sacrifice for science. You know what I mean? But in terms of the whole goal, it's like I think we need to explore kind of like the like foods just in general, because there is that whole kind of like aspect where you can see it with the processed foods and all that is poison. It is pure poison. It should never be considered food. But in terms of the other alternatives,
you can't even trust the people who claim to want to help you either. Like there's money in those people who claim to want to help you that actually don't really want society to be healthy. Like the people who send you, oh, buy this probiotic yogurt. It's like they know it doesn't fucking work. They know it's not going to help you, but they'll sell it to you, and they know full well that all of that bacteria is going to get killed the minute it hits your stomach acid. So like that's bullshit. And even if it survived, a probiotic isn't going to do anything good for your gut unless you eat something that's a prebiotic. But nobody eats prebiotics nowadays, especially not in the UK or around Europe.
but it is something, like I said, that there's just so many symptoms that come from just bad diet. You know what I mean? And there needs to be a
Yeah.
bigger push in terms of, like I said, kind of like, because like they say that eggs is bad for you, but like eggs are good for you, but it's depends on
Dude,
what else you're eating with it.
They spent 50 years telling you that red meat was terrible for your heart and causing cholesterol. And then they found out, oops, no, actually, it's really good. It's one of the best things for your cholesterol.
But like that's what I'm saying. Like how can there be kind of like tests, like I said, like for them to go on for 50 years and say this is one thing, and then they do it the test objectively, and then it's a different thing. You know what I mean?
Because
That's why I don't understand.
they pretended to be too stupid to know that those tests were affected by the actual oil that they were cooking the food in. Oh, so it's the oil that we're cooking it in, or the butter that we're cooking it in. It's not actually the meat that's causing that. Like this is the shit. You know when you look at statistics that are telling you what your ideal height is and what your ideal weight is, like in terms of calculating your BMI, if they're trying to tell you what your what the textbook blood pressures should be or pulses, like and also when they're telling you uh any kind of studies with regards to conditioning and all of that. Do you know where that comes from? That comes from a study that was done on US Navy guys in the 1950s. You don't think that we've changed since the 1950s? And are you going to take like US Navy guys who were like super healthy back then, when they had to do all of their PT shit and all of their training? You're going to base the average guy who sits on his sofa like 3 hours a day watching TV. You're going to say that that should be his average. It's not going to work like that. And they've never updated those stats. You look at biology, you look at healthcare books from like 60 years ago where they say 120/70, 60 per minute. That's the normal ranges for blood pressure and pulse. And you're going to tell me that people today, like now that you've got processed foods, which they didn't have back then, you're going to tell me that that's what that's the standard you're going to hold them to?
But the whole food pyramid, like that was just a marketing campaign. That wasn't actually based on any real scientific study or any of that shit.
Yeah.
Can we discuss your smoking habits? How long has this been going on?
Oh, that's when he stopped sucking something else.
Yeah, I had the peanuts, and then there was the. What is this a full medical that I'm doing today? It's like get the stethoscope out. Yeah, can you just tell me how many times your heartbeat you feel? I think I started smoking in college.
Did you get the popcorn lung?
It was just a very traumatic experience for me, Doc. I was just you opened me up, Doc. No, I started smoking kind of in around 20s, kind of like rollies, all that kind of stuff, and then I think I switched to vape in around it's the cheapest way to smoke. Basically, just buy tobacco and you have like skins and build it yourself, make it yourself. Basically kind of like smoke them was like the main smoke. If you were feeling frivolous, you'd maybe get the pack of smokes. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like basically kind of like that was basically 5-ish kind of years, and then basically on the vapes for the past 5 years. So.
No, it looks really masculine. It suits you.
Thank you. Like I already have the Ellen DeGeneres haircut. I might as well go full gay. You know what I'm saying?
Do you know what, dude? I'm gonna give you a marketing thing, right? An idea. You can do it, and just give me a little cut of the profits, right? So imagine like a little ring, okay, like a little band, like an elastic band, with a silicone pouch with 2 little marbles in it. And you just hang it at the base of like the bit that you smoke, right? And you can make it for all of those vape pens. And yeah, I think it would be good. People like Alex would buy it.
Yeah, like and then counterweight, you know what I'm saying? For your vape.
Yeah.
We can make it work.
And when you've put enough in your mouth, because it will hit your chin.
Yeah.
And you don't need to put any more than that. So you don't choke. If you've been drinking while you're vaping, it's a risk. It's a choking hazard.
Yeah, it's terrible.
That's the thing. Like, there could be a nut hazard or nut allergy that we have to be cognizant of as well.
You could put peanuts in it in the bag.
Yeah, nuts for
your
chin.
Peanut storage, guys.
Yeah, it's your peanut pouch.
This is what we're talking about.
I vape, and once in a while, I go a little bit deeper and I just bite the nuts out of it.
Exactly. A nice snack for when you're on the go.
Exactly.
A nice salty surprise.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, apart from that, like I don't drink like alcohol. Apparently, is very bad with like the sugars and all that stuff. I think that's in it.
That's the sugar.
I cut that out. I think 5 years ago. Now, like I think I've had like an occasional, like if we're at like a baptism or something like that, like a drink at that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like something that's fairly infrequent nowadays. Kind of like that kind of thing, but apart from that, it's been sober since. And then, yeah, apart from that, the only other thing is herb.
You are so not Irish.
What can I say?
So occasionally you go to some
baptism
drowning.
How many baptisms are there?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Like,
do they drink it?
Taryak's looking through the newspaper. I need to find a baptism somewhere.
Anyone.
I've gone to two baptisms. Brothers both had 2 kids. So like I had basically those were the main 2 that I drank. Pretty sure. But like I said, it is what it is. You know? Okay. Yeah. Apart from that, like I said, other than that, it's relatively healthy lifestyle. 60 push-ups a day, 60 pull-ups. You know what I'm saying?
That's good. Yeah.
What about you, Damon? What's your exercise regime? What's your health like?
Do you
Yeah.
eat
Click
only
that camera on.
peanuts?
Yeah.
Ah, no, it's only sausage for him. Bangers only.
No. I do have a. I do. Yeah. I eat a lot. I have to eat a lot. Like But yeah. No. I do. I do my training. It's difficult because of like work hours, but yeah. Thank God for 24-hour gyms. It helps. But I'm at that age where yeah, I do have to take supplements. So I do take supplements as well.
And what
But
supplements are we taking?
calcium, magnesium, zinc, biotin, silica plus, protein a lot.
What kind?
Get him, cat. Get him.
ISO. The bulk do a good range, which is pretty good. It's I didn't buy the right one. They sent me the wrong one, but it's the whey protein isolate. But I just get like the plain one. They fuck up how they sell it on Amazon now. So now I buy whatever flavor is the cheapest, as long as it's got the right type of whey protein isolate. But yeah.
And what's your diet?
Who?
Eamon's.
Turkey, fillet steak. I actually enjoy eating greens, so I have a lot of greens. Kale, and fruit. I don't really usually enjoy eating a lot of fruit, but I just like get a load of kale, cavolo, stuff like that, blend it with fruit, and just have that with protein. I like rice. Rice works for me, especially if I want to cut weight. Rice and veg. When I'm cutting weight, like I used to do it when I was younger. I used to do basketball and rugby, but on opposite seasons. So when I had to cut weight from going from rugby weight to basketball weight, I used to have a routine. Our gym, our coach basically had a crazy thing where you'd wake up in the morning and you'd drink a shit ton of water, and you'd wait until you get hungry. And when you get hungry, you drink a pint of water, you wait 15 minutes. And if you still feel hungry afterwards, you'd have like a small bowl of rice and veg. But if you weren't hungry, you'd just wait. And again, you do it until like when you drink the water, 15 minutes later, if you're still hungry, you'd alternate between the rice or you'd have some fruit. And you do that throughout the whole day and you lose a shit ton of weight like that. But I mean, obviously, again, it's not sustainable for the long term, but when you're cutting weight, you can cut a lot of weight pretty quickly. But you have to obviously supplement protein. So yeah, you don't want to cannibalize muscle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That seems way more unhealthy than what my diet is. I'm constantly getting natural protein, natural fat, and I'm not living off carbs.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that you'd also change your exercise regime when you're doing this. You're not. I mean, if you had to kind of like, I still do it sometimes. Like I do strength training. So if I'm doing strength training, like you need some kind of energy throughout the day. But like, you eat your oats as well, like slow release stuff that's going to give you energy throughout the day. But you do have to eat a shitload, and it gets boring to eat so much. So I don't have a problem eating a lot of protein, like protein powders and stuff like that. Some guys do. I eat a lot of eggs. I'll have turkey steaks. I'll have I eat regular steak, beef, stuff like that. But I mean, it's fucking expensive. It's cheaper just buying a load of protein, and it works for me. I don't mind that. I get
But Damon,
fiber in my
tell
diet.
them your height and weight, by the way.
Yeah, I'm 125 kilos. So that's like what, three, is it 350 or something like that? No, I mean 275, something like that. Kind of say, can we try and convert it?
Yeah, 275.
275, yeah. And I'm 6'8", 6'9". But
He's a big boy.
Jeez, y'all, big fella.
But,
Wow.
I mean, I've gone up and down in weight, like depending on obviously age and what I was doing. When I was, when I stopped playing rugby, I was a lot bigger. I was about, I think the heaviest I was nearly 160 kilos, like around 150, 160. But I was
Jeez.
also doing strength training, so I wasn't as in shape. I had like bulk rather than I mean, I was stronger than I ever was, but I didn't look good, you know. It was like I looked like I had a beer gut, but when I took my top off, like I still had like a six pack, but it looked like it's kind of like, you know, if you see any powerlifters, they look fat, but when they take their top off, you actually see that they're solid. But you know, I wanted to wear normal clothes, not tracksuit bottoms all the time. You can't like wear normal trousers or normal jeans when like you're that bloody big. So yeah, I had to cut weight, and losing muscle mass is fucking painful. It hurts, like it hurts your whole body. Everything hurts. Getting out of bed hurts. You feel like you're 60 years old. Um, but yeah, when you get it more under control, it's pretty good. Um, but yeah, I mean, you need to like, yeah, you have to lose weight in the right way and keep yourself safe as well. So like, yeah, supplements help. Like I started for some reason my fingernails were breaking like hell. Like they were cracking a lot, and it was getting like I was wondering, like they say your fingernails are tied to your health. So I like spoke to some people about it, and they were telling me like get biotin, get Silica Plus, it will help with that. Um, I had contact dermatitis, especially like during COVID, like from alcohol gels and stuff. And they're like, oh, it helps your skin. It's meant to be good for like skin, hair, and nails and stuff like that. Um, but I didn't really know like what was causing it. But like they said, oh, it helps with other stuff. And I found for some reason when I started taking both of those things, I was also sleeping really well. So I mean, I'm one of those people like I'll take supplements, but if I feel like it's not doing anything, it's not helping, I'll stop taking it. So whatever I take, usually I'll take it if it helps. Like, yeah, especially with going to the gym though, like magnesium is like magic. That stuff's amazing. Like whenever you go for good workouts, you don't feel sore the next day, you don't feel achy. Like magnesium is really good for like muscle recovery.
What are your thoughts on salt? I'm talking sea salt, like Celtic sea salt.
I had a horrible, like my whole life, horrible addiction to salt. I took so much damn salt. It was, I know that it was unhealthy.
Bath salt?
Um, but like, I mean, I don't know why, but I used to salt food. I was one of those people that would like put salt in food before even trying it. And it took me a long time to come off of it. It was like, I felt like salt was more addictive for me than sugar. Um, but the thing is that I think that people who struggle with obesity, you always find that they have a lot of salt. You know, and my only connection to that is that my logic to that is that I had to eat a lot for when I was doing rugby, right? And it's annoying. Like you have to force yourself to eat, and you're like, oh, I'll skip this meal. I was like, no, you have to eat. You have to eat. And you honestly notice it if you train a lot. You notice that you just don't have the energy. You can't give 100% if you skipped out on your meals. But when I was trying to cut out salt, food tastes shit. It's so hard to eat food, and you don't enjoy eating food without salt. At least me personally, I don't. So yeah, I mean, if you want to lose weight, cut out salt. Try to cut it out because
What?
it just nothing tastes nice without salt.
Okay, so when you talk about salt, you need to keep in mind that pure salt, table salt that we normally have, I don't know, you
At
guys,
restaurants.
restaurants, whatever,
No, I
that
eat rock
salt
salt,
is
sea salt.
not what I'm talking about, and
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is
I eat sea
toxic.
salt on everything.
He meant sea salt.
So what I mean is,
He said sea salt.
yeah, I know. So
Okay.
when I'm talking about sea salt, I'm talking about not just a salt that is just your regular white sea salt or pink salt. I'm talking about like the Celtic sea salt that has a lot of more potassium than really sodium and things like that. But when you're sweating, you're losing electrolytes, and you need to replace those. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to think clearly. You could have hypoglycemic symptoms. So what is usually recommended if you tend to be a sweater, if you tend to have night sweats, if you tend to go to a sauna or whatever, is if you're hungry and you think you need to eat, you probably don't. Put a pinch of Celtic sea salt in your mouth, and then let it dissolve, and then swallow it and see if you're still hungry. Where you were talking about like drinking water and then waiting, basically that's helping you fast. So you're going to switch over to ketones. So for your fuel source, you don't always need glucose. People think they always need to eat glucose or carbohydrates. You don't need to eat. You can skip it. It's fine. You'll be okay. Is that dark gray?
No, it's like it's kind of like a pinkish, kind of like salmony kind of color.
No. Throw it in. It's in the trash. Throw it in the trash.
So this is in the trash. What color do you want?
Dark gray.
Dark gray.
Or gray.
But the main premise is that it has like all the minerals, like the natural minerals and all the stuff from the sea and all this, isn't it?
More minerals than sodium. If you have like Himalayan pink salt, it's terrible. Also, it's quite harsh. But what you're looking for is potassium, magnesium, and sodium, plus there's 70 other minerals in Celtic sea salt. I'm sure there's another dark gray sea salt. I'm just using that. That's what we use over here. But if it's regular salt, then because there's even like it'll raise your blood pressure if you're getting too much sodium. You don't have the potassium to help vasodilate your blood vessels, and it'll actually increase your blood pressure. But also, if you're feeling foggy headed, try a little bit of salt. I'm not saying pathologically eating salt like Damon was. No, I'm not talking about that. So like if you're feeling foggy headed or if your nose is cold, I'm not saying if you're in the middle of winter and your nose is cold, obviously, no, I'm not talking about that either. But a lot of people are actually low in salt. And when you're overweight, you tend to be dehydrated. People that are overweight with a lot of fat, they actually need more water than those who don't. They did studies on weight loss where if you drink more water, you'll lose 30% more weight than those that didn't. And this was studies on women, not men. And it was, I think, 500 people. It wasn't a big study, but it was done quite some time ago. And it wasn't done on the Navy, any people like that. But anyway, have you heard about the potato diet?
No, but I know during the famine, it was like potato and buttermilk was like the main staple diet to get the Irish through the famine. Thanks for that, by the way, Damon.
What was that? Sorry.
The famine. Thanks for that. No.
Yeah, potato famine.
But the potato diet. You know more about the potato diet?
Yeah, that you just eat potatoes. What else do you need to know?
No, resistant starch.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Whatever. All right. So you get the potato. You bake the potato. You put it in the fridge, right? You take it out of the fridge after it's cold. Then you reheat it. And now it's a resistant starch. So it has less sugar and won't spike your blood sugar.
Can't you just eat sweet potato instead?
No, it's different.
You can make a resistant starch out of any starch.
You can do that to a sweet potato too, but
it won't like it.
It's not going to taste the same.
I feel even more or less Irish because I don't even eat potatoes anymore. Just peanuts, so I just feel lost in this conversation. But I think, like I said, like, what's the difference between sweet potato and normal potato?
They're completely different species.
Yeah.
But like, is it like different like potato, like that? Like sweet potato is not even a potato, or is just
Well, there's
different
even
species?
different types. There's even different types of sweet potato as well. Like you've got sweet potatoes that look like normal potatoes. They're actually white inside. Some are actually yellow inside. But from the outside they look like regular potatoes. They don't have that kind of shape that kind of sweet potatoes tend to have when you see them in stores. But yeah, I don't know. They're just nicer than regular potatoes. Yeah.
They got more fiber. They have more vitamins, nutrients than white potatoes.
Because that's one thing that my brother does as well. He swapped out normal potatoes for sweet potatoes. It's always kind of like, something in the back of mind, like, is there that big of a difference? But like I'm saying, there seems to be just more nutrients.
Try them. You'll like it. You're Irish. You should.
I think that's a bit stereotypical,
Yeah.
I don't know. He's leaning very American because he's having peanuts.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm not your typical Irish guy. I don't drink, don't eat potatoes. You know what I mean? Have a very funky diet with peanuts. But like I said, man, like, was it? Well, where's my budget? 660 euros a year on food, fish oil, vitamins,
What is that in real
minerals,
money?
delivery. In real money? Oh,
660
that
euros.
far.
That's
the
about
Monopoly
I
money?
think that's about $550, is it? Roughly.
That's
How?
how do you grow your own peanuts?
How?
Are you buying them from Alibaba?
I know a guy. You know.
You know a
Get
guy?
Brazil nuts, dude. Brazil nuts are better for you.
Oh, you gotta watch out for the selenium. You can
Yeah.
overdo it when you get over 5
Mhm.
a day.
No more than
I know
5.
you're not supposed. You only need about 4 or 5. Yeah, and
Yeah, no more than that.
They're good for reducing risk of cancer as well.
Mhm.
Exactly,
some
Smoky
selenium.
Guru. The answer is peanuts. $720 a year is how much I spend for food, fish oil, minerals, vitamins, and even I get delivered right to my door as well. So
I
Can't even ask
have a money-saving idea for you. Thanks to the World Economic Forum, you can now eat bugs.
nah,
can
man,
grow them in your
that's too far
closet.
from me.
Oh my gosh.
You can feed them peanuts.
Ah.
Why would I feed them the peanuts? I want the peanuts. The peanuts taste good to me. You know what I mean?
You like
was-
those
it was a-
nuts in your mouth.
Okay.
Salty ones too.
Anyways. So, what other health conspiracies do you guys want to ask?
Like I said, from my
We're
end,
not allowed to talk about them, though, are we? We're not allowed to talk about them. You'll get shut down on YouTube. Sorry. I don't know your name, Kat's husband. Sorry,
Steve.
Steve. Yeah, we heard you're a doctor. What is it exactly that you practice?
He does functional and acupuncture.
All right, okay,
Oriental medicine
cool.
and functional medicine.
Okay.
Sorry.
He's thinking.
No,
That was too much
sorry. I thought I shut down. It looks like I kicked myself out,
No.
but you guys can still hear me.
Yep. And see ya.
Right. Okay. Hang on a second. For some reason, it's saying that I'm backstage now, but okay.
Nope.
On my screen, it's all weird.
We see ya.
we see it. So
Okay,
you're saying
I
it was
think this is so weird. I think I might have to leave and jump back in because
Yeah.
I don't see any of you guys. Hang on a
Okay.
second.
So, anyways, do you have any?
Oh, I didn't have to leave. Sorry. For some reason, I opened up another window. I don't know why.
We were about to
But
talk
it's okay
about you. Can you leave for a minute so we can? Jeez, a little weird.
Now, I was going to ask, did you work through? I don't know what words we're allowed to say or not say. But
Rona.
Yeah. Did you
Yeah.
work
Yes.
through that?
Yes.
Yeah, although I did home visits. The office was shut down, but I did home visits. And then my
So,
patients got addicted to home visits, and it's like getting them off the pipe. It was
I don't know if this kind of counts towards conspiracies within healthcare stuff, but um, did you find that the lockdowns, how the governments were trying to say across the world that the lockdowns were proving to be working and proving to be effective because of the reductions in numbers of cases, and when they ended the lockdowns, the cases started spiking again? Do you think that was specifically because of lockdowns, or was there something else that you were seeing within healthcare that could have potentially contributed to that?
He did not work at a hospital, so we couldn't see that side of things.
Right. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so coming from my perspective as in a private practice, I think the lockdowns had more detrimental effect, and there was a lot of diagnoses of viruses like flu and virus. It was very similar, but whatever. Let's say there wasn't a misdiagnosis. The lack of human interaction, what we were afraid of, the clinicians, I and the other clinicians and peers that we were talking about this on a weekly basis at the beginning, were afraid that when people would come back together, the flu would become stronger than ever because we hadn't had any exposures to flu, which can kill you at a greater rate than what that was.
Yeah.
So that was a fear that could happen. And the lockdowns, I don't feel like it had more harm widespread, broadly than benefit.
Do you think it was ignorance, or do you think it was deliberate that they did things like leaving fast food places open but shutting down gyms?
Both, for sure.
Right.
Because there's people that just, they follow orders, and then they take an order and then they just, run with it. Oh, we should do masks and 6 foot distance. And when they interview the people that actually came up with that, like Fauci, he said,
Don't say his name.
Anyway, the powers that be said in interviews when they were interviewing him, like a few months ago, he was saying like, oh, the 6 foot, that was arbitrary. We had no evidence to base it on.
Yeah.
The mask
from the same guy who thought that AIDS was spread airborne. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
If you sit on a subway train and you're too close to somebody with AIDS, you can get AIDS if they cough in your direction. Yeah, it's like, doesn't make
Stay away from the gays.
Oh my gosh, stop. There's certain things you can't say.
You can't say stay away from the gays?
No.
It rhymes.
Stay away from the alphabet, people.
Oh my gosh.
What? The T's are okay.
Yeah. The Rainbow Mafia will give you the airborne AIDS. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyways, moving on, guys. That was fun. You're gonna say something terrible.
No, you're gonna talk about me now. Okay.
Before he goes.
Here, he wants to.
It was nice talking to you, by the way.
Let him ask you something.
What?
Do not
no,
say
the
anything
only reason why I was asking, I'm gonna try to not say anything controversial, but I noticed from several friends I have who work in hospitals, and myself as well, seemed to notice that there was a trend that before the lockdowns, we were told that there's just not enough testing kits, right? Whether it's the lateral flow or the others, we just didn't have enough testing kits to go around. And we had a list of, I think it was 14 symptoms. And a physician could, if he had somebody else to sign off on it with him, could determine whether or not a patient had the Rona, if they had 3 out of those 14 symptoms, right? Now, nothing was done properly, right? Like if you're supposed to take the temperature, or if you're you need to wait until the person comes in off of the street for a little while to get acclimated to being indoors. then you take the temperature. But no, it was a little tester that was right at the doorway. When you come in, you take your own temperature. So more likely than not, you're going to be reading low. Nothing was done effectively. You could determine if a patient had a cough just by hearing them cough one time. So you can tick that off. That's one symptom, right? If they've got a headache, most of the patients would have headaches regardless of, what's wrong with them. So it was very easy to kind of, if you wanted to, make it look like loads of people have it, right? You only need 3 out of 14, and these are 3 pretty generic symptoms. When we actually got the testing kits, that was no longer allowed. You couldn't go by a physician just determine it. You had to have a positive result on the test. We got the testing kits the same week that the lockdowns happened. So now all of a sudden, the numbers drop because we have to confirm it with a testing kit.
Mm-hmm.
When we ran out of the testing kits, that was when they eased up the lockdown restrictions.
Ah.
And that happened every single time we went into and came out of a lockdown.
Wow.
Not just in
Interesting.
one hospital, but in many hospitals. So I wonder if anybody's ever going to look into that. I wonder if this is something that people are going to question. Another thing that I wonder if they're going to question is what the incident rates of never events or accidental losses of life.
Coconut death?
Yeah, how those seemed to magically drop almost to zero during that period of time between 2019 and let's say 2022-ish, 2023-ish. How is it that all of these hospitals have got such fantastic rates of, not having people pass away from avoidable issues because everything got reported as being due to the Rona? Yeah. It'd be interesting if we see that.
I doubt it.
Never.
But the CDC publishes their death lists or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's about 3 years afterwards. But I still think that data is going to be corrupted. Just the reporting alone. Oh, they tested positive. They were in a car accident. Well, they wouldn't have gotten the car accident if they hadn't. No. They were underneath a coconut tree and they went under the coconut tree. There was a wind. And because they had this, that's why they went under the coconut tree and they got death by coconut.
Yeah.
300 people on average die of coconuts every year in the United States.
How many people die of lightning, getting hit by lightning?
Yeah.
Oh, he got hit by lightning, but did he have Rona? Yeah.
He ought it. That was it. Telling you.
The
God
lightning
struck him
went
down.
after him. Because he was gay. No, because he had Rona.
Oh my God!
He had Rona. And you know how he got it? We don't.
Because he was eating too many peanuts.
Too many salty nuts in your mouth.
Exactly.
Okay. Moving on, you guys, because that's awesome. What's a non-controversial conspiracy, like a non-cancelable conspiracy?
Something boring.
Yeah, something boring.
Let's find the most boring conspiracy theory.
The Earth is flat. No, wait.
No,
Antarctica is a alien civilization base. Yes.
Oh, the cave of bones.
What?
What?
You have bones?
Did you not watch that?
Oh, I
No.
heard something else.
Go on.
Cave of Bones on is it Cave of Bones? I think it's Cave of Bones on Netflix, where they found God, yeah, I know so little about it because I only heard about it recently and I said I was going to watch it, but there's a million other things to watch. You know that Ancient Apocalypse?
No. Which one?
Oh, watch Ancient Apocalypse first. Amazing multi-part series on Netflix. Graham Hancock,
Oh, yeah.
British journalist, right? So it looks like every episode is like a different thing that he's investigating. But in the last couple of episodes, you realize he's tying it all together to something much bigger. And it's amazing about human prehistory, possible human prehistory. Like, is our civilization a lot older than we think it is? And he's got some really interesting arguments. And he comes into it telling you straight away that he's not an archaeologist, he's a journalist. But he's actually more experienced than any living archaeologist out there. He's been to more dig sites and investigated and spoken to experts. Really, really good. But this other thing called Cave of Bones is quite interesting because they found a tunnel. I'm not sure who it was who found it, but they went into it, they investigated it, they called some friends, they went into it, they recorded the area that they found. And it was a long tunnel that led kind of at a 45-degree angle under the earth that came out into a big opening. And it looked like somebody was kind of camping underground in it. You know, there was like a fire pit, some kind of rudimentary kind of seating areas and tables. And they found preserved food, cooked food, I think, as well, and evidence of people kind of doing carvings on walls and on some supporting pillars, I guess. But then they found a tunnel at the far end of that room that went downwards into a deeper, I think, larger open area where people were sleeping, and again, evidence of preserved food and other stuff like that. And then behind that room, a third tunnel that kind of dipped and rose and dipped again. It was kind of deliberately tunneled that way, almost kind of like an inverted U-bend in a toilet, right? And I think that that was probably to keep the smell out. I don't know if they explain this for what was beyond that, because that was the deepest open area where they found it full of bones. And when the dig team kind of went in there to investigate, they found out that this was actually a burial site. I think initially they thought that it was where they were dumping their food, so they wouldn't leave it outside to attract predators. But it was actually, the bones belonged to the same creature, and it was, when they saw it, they thought, oh, it's actually them. They're burying their own people here. Because they were kind of laid out in a fetal kind of position. And I think each one of them was clutching a tool. So this was such an early civilization that, but they were able to use tools. And for some reason, I guess it was very important to them culturally. So they were buried with the tool that they had, the carving tool, which looks like it was man-made. So they guessed that it was like a kind of rite of passage when they reached a certain age that they would make this tool that they would use. And it would be with them for their whole life and they'd be buried with it. But when they analyzed the bones, they realized that it's not actually Homo sapien. So it's a completely different, well, it's a different branch of how we all evolved into these kind of different species. And this isn't Homo sapien. They named it. I forget the name that they used for it, but it's actually in the show. And I think they kind of come up with an image of how they would have looked. But it's really interesting because
Homo
now it's
naledi.
kind of, yeah. And they're wondering if this means that, was it Homo naledi?
Yep. Paste it into the chat.
So I think that this is now bringing into question if a lot of these other sites that we found that we're wondering, like, why would we have built this? Maybe we didn't build it. Maybe it was these kind of other people. Especially if you look at some of the episodes of Ancient Apocalypse, where you find these gigantic structures that were all built underground. Some of them that were connecting different countries that were tunneled underground. They're like underground cities that housed tens of thousands of people. And maybe it wasn't even built by Homo sapiens. So yeah, it's kind of interesting to think about.
So do you think this is in any way related to the tunnels in New York City?
No. What tunnels?
The subway.
No. I can't. I don't think.
Because none of those people are human.
Oh.
my gosh.
You ride the subway, you're not going to meet normal people. Sorry, no. What's that? What tunnels are you talking about?
There were some tunnels that were coming out
Sorry,
of
let me move.
synagogue.
No, we're not talking about Steven. Get out of here. Get out of here. Go. Leave. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Oh,
Get out of-
cat's
piece of-
no fun.
Get out of here.
Tell
I
him we
You
swear.
said
gotta be
bye.
kidding me.
I'm never gonna get monetized.
Tell him we said bye. Tell him we said bye. I
Okay.
hope he logs on with a tablet or something and comes into the chat.
No, he won't.
So,
No,
guys,
we're not. We're not.
6
talking
million,
about
yes or
that.
no?
No. Okay. We need a safer topic, you guys. A safe topic. Safe words only.
Somebody messaged me what this was. Like, send it to me in the chat. Like, what is this thing he was talking about? I want to know now.
Oh no. We're not going to talk about it, but there it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyways, you can look that up. I get all my news from TikTok. Uncensored, baby. China wants you to know.
Of course. China is our ally.
Yeah, no, China's more of our ally than our own government at this point.
China.
Nah, I think China, like the whole kind of like push for communism is backed by the Chinese government because it's Chinese Communist Party. Whereas I
China
think like,
virus.
exactly all those kind of shenanigans, it's too much of a like the timing. You know what I mean? Didn't make any sense. Like I said, our boy Trump looks like he's going to be he's sparking up. He's going to win from the prison cell, which is going to be, like I said, Johnny Cash moment. I personally,
Unfortunately, they're not going to lock him up before then. They should. It would be amazing if he won it from prison. I'd love that.
he's saying, "I shot a man in Reno." You know what I mean?
I could shoot a man in the street and I'd still win.
Like that's it. Like, do you know what I mean? It's
He said
I
that.
think
Yeah, it's amazing.
like that whole kind of like element like that. That's kind of like a conspiracy, but it's less of a conspiracy rather than an actual matter of fact. Because I don't know how you can prosecute a man like even just the Mar-a-Lago case. If we just take that snippet, like how you can say Mar-a-Lago is only 20 million, I don't understand. But if it is, I want to, please. Get out a small loan, and then all I have to do is just resell it. You know what I mean?
Well, somebody valued Buckingham Palace at 15 million. Was it Buckingham Palace at 15 million? What the hell?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you can get like any of these financial guys to come up with any evaluation they want based on whatever fucking logic they spin out of their arse. But take a man to court over that shit. Like I said, it's kind of, this needs to be kind of like next level or kind of like a next level infringement, because it's not only like, oh, I don't have trust in democracy anymore. It's like I don't have trust in the justice system anymore. But like that's, if you read the Communist Manifesto, that's part of the whole process for them to lose trust in the whole justice system, all that shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So where do you think we are on the road to one world government?
I don't see it happening. I think that unfortunately the people that brought that in, or that wanted to bring that in, the people who wanted to bring in the New World Order, the only way I can see it working is if the New World Order isn't actually what we think it is. The people aren't actually, they don't realize what the New World Order is supposed to be. And in that sense, I can see that program winning. But in the other sense, I think that if it is to kind of like turn people into these slaves to a system of government, which is going to basically keep us imprisoned, like, as they said, like, you know, you're going to eat bugs, you're not going to own anything, and you're going to be happy, and that kind of stuff. If that's really what they're trying to bring in, I think that they played themselves, because they realized, or at least they thought, that the only way that they could bring this system in is via the tool of social media. because it's the easiest way to reach out to everybody and program them, right? So they needed social media to bring in this new world order. But with that came the ability for people to spread information to one another as well. And social media has made a lot of people wake up and realize what these people are doing as well. So in a way, the tool that they thought that they were going to use is also the same thing that's going to mean that they can't win. If you're going to try and bring in a new world order, people can't know about it, right? But thanks to social media, they do. So yeah, I think I don't see it happening, especially if, like, I spoke about this the other day with who was it? Jake and who else was it? I'm trying to remember now. I think it was Alex. The Fourth Turning. Have you read that book?
Mm-mm.
So it's like it's called I don't know if you heard of Strauss-Howe generational theory.
No.
It's the idea that, like, we live in generational cycles that repeat. So you have like this 80-year cycle that's broken down into 4 phases usually, and each phase is the length of a generation, which is about 20 years. So each of those generational phases repeat every 80 years, and you'll have, like, the first phase. I mean, the cycle ends and begins due to some kind of cataclysmic event. So in America, if you look at it, it would be like things like the Revolutionary War, World War One, and now if you end of World War Two, and now if you look 80 years post end of World War Two, which should be 2025, it's supposed to be the end of that last generational phase, which is the crisis phase. And at the end of that crisis phase, you usually have this event, which then leads you into a phase of, like, optimism, hope, right? So if you believe that theory, which has repeated many times throughout history, we should be ending the crisis phase pretty much now, within the next year or so, which then means that we should have this phase of hope and optimism. So, I mean, yeah.
Okay, I found something.
I think from my end, like, it's not just
Oh, you're a little loud.
oops, sorry. Is this better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, I think in sense from, like, my end, you see this pattern in a lot of, I think, like, in Hindu scripture as well. It's like this kind of, like, played out of, like, set of kind of repetitive loops over, let's say, 70 years, 80 years, kind of like that kind of time frame of a lifetime. It's kind of the pattern you see, like I said, in a lot of ancient scriptures as well. I think even in Revelations, I think it's said to be like 7 years, but 7 years could be that, like I said, sets of 7, if you get me. But like I said, a lot of this stuff is like, it's worth a gander. You know what I mean? Just to at least see, okay, what are they proposing that this is, like you said there, to propose that it goes end and then it goes into the high again, essentially. Do you know what I mean? And it repeats.
Well, there's the funny thing is that if you look at this Strauss-Howe theory, right, this generational theory, it actually explains almost accurately, almost down to the year, what Yuri Bezmenov explained in the communist agenda of toppling America, okay, subverting Western culture. Because he did the same thing. He said that, like, when the Russians came in, they had when the communists decided to go to America and overthrow America from within, they had a 4-stage plan. And the first plan was enacted over a single generation, because he said that it's to infiltrate schools and to basically brainwash the kids in schools. And he said that this is going to take 15 years, because 15 years is the time it takes to fully educate one generation. And then after that, Americans are going to be feeding other Americans this, because those kids are going to grow up and some of them are going to be teachers, or some of them are going to have kids of their own, and they're going to poison their own children with this ideology. And the next stage, the second stage, third stage, fourth stage, although time wise they took less, um, the results are the same. And it will culminate with this thing at the end of, you're going to have this generation of people whose minds have been basically poisoned. And if you look at what the New World Order could potentially be, the New World Order could be not necessarily a system that you live under, which is going to control you, but it's going to be what Orwell spoke about in 1984. The New World Order isn't necessarily about making you eat bugs and renting everything rather than owning anything. The New World Order is basically going to be a new truth, a new reality that they've programmed you into accepting. So the New World Order could be this new truth of 2 + 2 = 5, right? Which is what they wanted to condition people to be, to fully accept things. So under that New World Order, the public would just accept what they're told without questioning it, because you've basically killed the critical brain. And to accomplish that, you have to control the schools. And that, like you said, Teriak, as well, and like it says in The Naked Communist, in the 45 goals that the communists want to achieve, so many of those goals are orientated around controlling the schools, motivating the kids to not become educated children, but to become activists, to control protests, to control the student newspapers, right? All of it is about targeting the children, because what you don't need to brainwash and control adults if you've already conditioned them before they've developed their own critical brain when they're children. And now, when we talk about things like the transgender, right? We think that's ridiculous. People aren't going to believe this. We need to educate them. We need to fight this. We need to tell them. It's too late. You're not going to be able to fight it when you have a generation of kids who were told as an absolute truth before they've developed their critical brain filter, okay, that men can become women and women can become men, and men can compete with women equally, and women can compete equally with men, and that there's nothing wrong with that. And to think otherwise is bigotry, right? These are the kids that you're going to have to try and so-called educate and teach them that that's not true, and you have to deprogram them. But you can't deprogram somebody for something that they've learned to be an absolute truth before that critical brain filter came into play. So when you're wondering, why are they teaching this to kids who are under the age of like 7 or 8, right? Why is it that we need to tell kids who are 5 or 6 years old about this? Why do teachers want to teach those kids about that? Because when you learn something at that age, your brain accepts it as an absolute truth, because your critical brain hasn't developed until you're about 7 or 8 or even 9 in some cases. So anything you learn before that, that's truth to you. And anybody who tells you otherwise, you just reject it. You can't accept that.
Yeah, I remember they were saying like sometimes 1 + 1 could just be like what Kim Jong-un, whatever, one of those Kims said, if it 1 + 1 can be 1, because what if you add 1 drop of water to another drop of water, it just makes 1 bigger drop of water.
Yeah. Or what you have that guy now who was in Empire, who's telling people stuff. Like, they made him say 99% of stuff that sounded really interesting. And you're like, wow, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. But then
No,
it
it
ended
doesn't.
with him saying, yeah, no, but all of the stuff that he was saying up until that point, it did kind of make sense, right? And you were thinking, wow, this is really interesting. This guy's really intelligent. And this is kind of cool and fascinating, and it makes sense. But then he ends it with saying, and if you think about all of this, then you have to ask, why do we say that 1 multiplied by 1 = 1? It should be 2, because you're multiplying and multiplying. You never ever multiply anything else and then result with something that's equal to it. It's a multiplication would always result in something greater than the thing you're multiplying. So why is it 1 × 1 = 1? It should be 1 × 1 = 2. I'm like, what?
Mm.
No, you lost me now. No, no, no. It's like I understand what you're trying to say, but I just understand that you're wrong. But then you see all these other people in the room that are looking at him, and these are educated motherfuckers, I think, in Oxford, right? And they're looking at him thinking, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, you guys are maths graduates. How can you entertain this shit?
Yeah.
Because
And
like
I
if 1 × 1 = 2, then if you're a mathematician, you would know then, well, then that means that 1 × 2 can't equals 2. You can't have two things equaling the same thing when one of the things that you're multiplying by is the same. You can't have 1 × 1 = 2 and 1 × 2 also equals 2. That doesn't make sense. Like, and not to mention, it's like it's just logical in the saying. I have 1 times of a value of 1. Therefore, I only have one thing, right? I'm multiplying a potential value by the actual times of 1, right? So therefore, the value I have is 1. And you're telling me this guy doesn't understand that? Of course he understands it. He's trying to fuck with people for a very specific reason.
but remember when what's that other guy, the black guy, the space
Neil deGrasse
guy?
Tyson?
Yes, that guy. So he comes on and he tries to like school people. He goes on Rogan. This is how it is, and if you don't agree with him, he kind of like is very on top of you and just talks down to you, right?
Yeah.
And I get the feeling that he's just like one of their controlled things to get whatever ideas that they want out there. Like, this is our quote unquote expert. You cannot question the expert.
Yeah.
Who are you to question this expert? But whatever. Of course
And
you can
nobody wants
question.
to say you're an expert in one tiny fucking field of something, dude. You're an expert in astrophysics. That's it. So excuse me if I don't fucking listen to you on why on telling me about why somebody needs to stick something in their arm, right?
Mm.
Like it makes no damn sense. Like, you're about as much of an expert on that stuff as I am on astrophysics. So like it doesn't make sense. It
Yeah.
only makes sense to the people who think that this performative stuff is actually going to affect people.
Yeah, and I think people already can tell that these are just paid people and or actors that are, again, paid to say or do whatever they're told.
Yeah.
And people are just not buying it like they used to. Now it's like when people are being canceled, we pay more attention. It's like, oh, you don't want that person to speak? Okay, I'll at least give them a shot.
Yeah, exactly. You're right on that. 100%.
Yeah, but it's just like it's very weird. I don't know if they're going to be able to pull it off, but then I see they're still trying. They're not pulling back.
Well, I think that we have reached that. This is why one of the reasons why I don't think the New World Order is going to really pan out the way they think it will, because people have become wise to it. And like I said, social media is a big reason for that. You're good. You're at a stage where like authenticity is the currency of the day now. Okay, so if you look at the people who've been cancelled, like you said, these are the people that people are going to want to listen to, right? This is why Donald Trump succeeded, because here was a man who all of the Hollywood elites for like 30 or 40 years were loving this guy, loving this guy. Let's not forget that Oprah Winfrey had him on her show and was asking, "Are you going to run? When are you going to run for presidency?" Everyone's like cheering and clapping. And then what happened when he decided to run? All of the knives came out from the people that wanted him to run. Why? Because he wasn't running for their side. So now
Well,
it's like,
yeah.
oh, hang on a second. Now you hate the guy? And you have Oprah Winfrey calling him a racist when she was there giving him that award, the Ellis Island Award, right? It's like, hang on a second. You gave him an award for all of the great stuff that he did for the minority communities, and now you're saying he's a racist. It's like people are going to start questioning that kind of behavior, and they're questioning it more and more and more. And I was speaking with somebody the other day, and they were saying like, "Oh, I'm so sick and tired when I see these Hollywood elites telling me who I should and shouldn't vote for." It's like, who made you an authority on this stuff? You're an actor, right? And I was thinking, like, yeah, I do agree. Like, we should just tell these people, shut up and act. You're not an authority in this stuff, and we shouldn't listen to them. But I do have an exception. I think we should listen to the people that have risked their own career to go against what the Hollywood elites say and stand up and say, I don't agree with this. I'm not going to toe the party line. I'm not going to use my platform to promote a party that I don't agree with just because I might be blacklisted. And if I'm a Christian, or if I'm a conservative, or if I have these certain values, or if I want to vote for a guy that you don't like, I'm going to defend my opinion, right? Those are the people who, you know, they're not getting paid to say this shit. We all know that the people who virtue signal the hardest, and who try to tell us that Hillary was fantastic, and who tried to tell us that Biden's doing a wonderful job, those are the people that are getting a lot of lovely little roles. Do you think they're getting that based off of merit? And then you have other people who've lost their entire career for being honest. Like, yeah, we should listen to those people that say the unexpected thing, that don't toe the party line, because they've lost everything to tell you something. So why would they be lying?
Yeah, so I mean, Teriak, what do you think?
From my perspective, like anytime I hear, oh, you can't listen to him, he's bigoted, he's racist, it's like, sign me up. I want to listen to him now. Because after the whole Alex Jones thing, I think this is completely backfired in their face, and now you see it that they're desperate for power. They're starting to panic, and now they're thinking, oh yeah, let's lock Donald Trump up. That'll stop him winning the election. But it's that whole kind of perspective where the crowd gets to see how crazy they actually are. So, like I said, the whole kind of aspect now that we're seeing, where, like Damon kind of said, it's we're rolling into a more prosperous era. It does genuinely feel like that. I think PBD even kind of mentioned this a couple of months back. His whole kind of like thing this year, like is to kind of promote positivity, promote optimism and hope for the future. Because, like we said, the expression I think Trump has is to make it too big to rig. Which, again, like I said, everyone who did vote for Biden, they have to go out of their way and vote for Trump this time around, because, like I said, there's so many videos of him like sniffing kids, and then the stories coming out with his son, and there's even a picture of his son with like a girl that looks like she's like 13 or something crazy like that.
Mhm.
Like there's all sorts of kind of shady shit behind the family, and there's that whole thing of where, oh, like, let's go after his family, let's lock off oops, sorry. Let's lock up Hunter Biden, but it's then they're just dragging you down to that level of destruction, and equally like not being trust. It's just a kangaroo court. Then it's like, we're going to get your guy, I'm going to get your guy, kind of thing. Like I said, it needs to be kind of that aspect of, like I said, calmness, coolness, stoicism needs to be kind of more present. But again, like I said, it's like Damon said, it seems like we're coming into that kind of hopeful era, the era where prosperity starts to come. Because even like crazy shit like the environmentalists and all that kind of bollocks, this whole thing of like, we need like carbon pollution, like that makes no sense. Like, we're already below optimal carbon levels for plants.
Carbon is the most insane thing to even mention. Like, we need it. It's so stupid. The whole carbon credit things is just another way to tax us and control.
But like, that's the best way to get to them is just say to them, okay, let's say, do you want the world with zero carbon dioxide in the air? And if they say yes, then you say, congratulations, you just killed every single fucking plant in the world. And then, like I said, then you basically expose them that they have no clue what the carbon dioxide does, or photosynthesis process and all that bollocks.
That's the
Like I said,
problem. People have done that.
Sorry, was it you, Terry, who I spoke to, where I said, did you see that video of a panel where somebody asked all of the so-called experts, tell me how much carbon is in the air right now? How much of a percentage of carbon is in the air? Did you watch that?
I think it was a BBC guy, or former BBC, not BBC guy. It was like News Talk or Newsline or something like that. It was like a British.
It was at a
Australian
governmental meeting. It was at a governmental meeting, and somebody said, can you tell me how much carbon is in the air right now? And this panel of experts that we're meeting for this talk about like lowering CO2 emissions, none of them knew how much carbon was in the air or how much of a percentage of the air was carbon. None of them could say. And then he said, take a guess, just hazard a guess at it. And all of them were wildly off. All of them were wildly off. And one of the things that he didn't mention, but somebody else mentioned in another talk, was that if you alter the percentage of carbon in the air by just 0. I think it was 0.02, either way, then like you said, all life on Earth dies. And somebody calculated after that, it was I think it was a science grad calculated, if we go by the listed emissions of every country that has signed up to the Paris Accords, and if America remained within the Paris Accords, if they hypothetically were to reach the targets of zero emissions, right? If everyone has a carbon footprint of 0, if they managed to do that, the overall climate change would be more than that 0.2 or 0.002%. And you would actually kill all life on the planet because of that. So these are standards that they want you to achieve that are actually deadly standards. It would wipe out life on Earth if we achieved it.
But that's what it is. It's just a bullshit tax to try and keep because like even Constantine Christen like came out and said it was like the majority of the carbon emissions is coming from China, like South Africa, not South Africa, but like Southern Africa, India, places like that kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So it does, like this whole taxing the West for carbon emissions does not make any sense. And like we said, it's actually the carbon levels are actually below what's optimum for plants at the moment. You know what I mean? So
and let's not forget that this isn't actually even new. This started like in the mid 1980s. It's just that we never called it carbon emissions. We never called it that. Back then it was like, oh, it's greenhouse gases. We need to fight greenhouse gases, right?
Yeah.
And what did the companies do? Oh, you need to meet these requirements. Like we need you to, we're going to survey your plants. We're going to make sure that you're recycling everything. If you don't recycle effectively, then we're going to punish you. You're going to have to pay these fines. And what did the companies do? They offshored all their stuff. They started producing their stuff in India. They started producing their stuff in Taiwan. They sent all the stuff elsewhere, right? Because they don't count it if it's in another country. They look at your factories within Europe or within the UK. And if you can just say, well, look, yeah, like we're staying within these values of how much we're allowed to pollute. And if we need to produce more, we're just going to produce it in another country that doesn't count. So it's the same thing. Like, do you think these people are going to lose business? No, they're not. They're just going to offshore stuff. And if we lower it in one country, it just means that it's increasing in China or it's increasing in India. That's all that happens. And this is how stupid they are. Like, drive an electric car. Why? Because we need to reduce emissions. Okay, well, how am I going to charge the battery? Well, it's a battery, it's electric. Yeah, but where's that energy that's charging my battery coming from? Oh, so as long as the smoke doesn't come out of my exhaust pipe, and if it's coming out of some reactor somewhere else that's powering my battery, then you're okay with it. Like, it comes from somewhere. Like you're gonna have that waste ending up on the same planet, regardless of if it's my car burning it or if it's some big factory, some big energy plant that's burning it, and that's what's powering my car. It's like it's the same thing. Doesn't matter if it's a battery or if it's diesel. At the end of the day, there's going to be a shitload of smoke coming out of something, whether it's a exhaust pipe or whether it's a reactor flume, you know.
And like I said, like that's the thing where it's always kind of like you always get shown like one part of the puzzle, and it's like, okay, that's the main focus now. Like I said before, is when we were growing up, all that was greenhouse gases, and now it's carbon emissions. All this kind of like pseudoscience bollocks, essentially, when you break it down, because like we said, like photosynthesis is a process where plants need carbon dioxide to stay in life, and they basically intake the carbon dioxide and they produce more oxygen. So there will always be a need for carbon emissions, essentially. So, like I said, but you see the same thing that they're trying to introduce now with the 15-minute cities. This whole kind of like trying to limit your kind of like travel, limit your expense like that. But at the same time, they're taking all these plane rides across the world to talk about all this shit about polluting the environment. You know
Yeah,
what I
I
mean?
mean, it's not about that. It's always been about making everybody poor, so then they go to them for help.
Because I think I don't remember who it was. I think I looked up on the Grok, but I can't remember what the topic was. But it was basically, oh no, it was Jake's stream yesterday. He was basically walking through like the 8 steps of the communists, and that like keep them in poverty, and even if they get out of poverty, put them in debt, put them back into poverty is like a typical kind of like route to have it. And like I said, that this whole kind of like thing leads in from the whole kind of food discussion that we had. It's like, why would you want population that are fat, stupid, and like you said, they are broke? Because then you can control them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and also the other thing, my conspiracy, school's a conspiracy. You don't need that many hours. That's only so that you can go to the factory. Now we're not in the factory. They're like, let's keep the kids in there. Make sure there's no stay-at-home moms so they can't do homeschooling. Make it absolutely impossible to do anything, because when kids go to school, they come home with tons of homework now. It's not like when I was a kid. I don't know about when you guys were kids, but like when I was a kid, it was like a 10-second, 15-minute tops thing, homework. Now it's like hours, 4 or 5 hours of nonstop, and it's timed on these like computer, these like programs that they have to use. So everything is timed, everything hours and hours long. So you just spent how many hours in school, and then you have to spend your free time while you're eating, and you have to take a shower, and you have to like whatever, doing more homework. That means there's zero time for you to even talk to your kids or have any relationship with your kid, which is totally by design. And then of course when they go to college, that's the first time like they're on their own and you haven't talked to them much, because there's only 1 week of vacation in the United States. 2 if you're really, really fancy.
I don't understand how you guys can do that. Just 1 week of vacation. That makes no sense.
Oh, I can't hear you.
I was just saying that I don't understand how you guys can do that. Just 1 week of vacation.
We can't. You can't. That's why it's so expensive to get a flight from the US, because they know we only have 1 week. So they have to get as much money from us as possible for that one flight.
Damn. I'll never understand. I think I've got something ridiculous. I've been working for a long time within the same company, so I always rack up extra days of annual leave the longer you work for that company. So I'm on like, I think 7 weeks or 8 weeks. Yeah, it's a lot.
Not a bad stash. I think I'm on like 5 or 6 at the moment. Somewhere between there.
Yeah.
Mm. Do you have a job?
Yeah.
What? You eat peanuts for a living?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Cool. So
I like I said, like I treat myself to the steaks every night and again. Like I said, I've got like some prime, like about six prime ribeye steaks coming, and then like 6 just regular ribeye steaks. I'm gonna treat myself to that this week. But yeah, like I said, just it's the fact that it's just like so cheap. The like €660, which I think is roughly about $720, is my food for the year. That's including vitamins, minerals, fish oil, all that, peanuts. Good to go, folks. You know what I'm saying?
what do you do for a living, though? You can't just eat peanuts and make money.
Yeah, of course you can. Why can't you?
Oh my gosh.
You know what I'm saying? Like what I
He's got
do.
an OnlyFans. He's got an OnlyFans where he
Only
puts
peanuts.
the peanuts between his toes, and he's flexible. He just eats them out of the webbing of his toes.
It is what it is. No, I do data analytics, like data engineering and all that kind of stuff. So, writing
home.
SQL queries to extract like data data from the databases of like live applications or real time, all that kind of stuff. Being able to push it up on the dashboards, being able to generate KPIs, like basically go from the scratch, like go to a team that has no clue about, let's say, metrics or anything like that, or any kind of priority system of how to sort their backlog, and then being able to kind of like come up with like
All right.
basically numbers and all that to
Uh-huh.
prioritize and all that.
That
Very
sounds,
numbers
that
based.
sounds super boring.
Yeah, Joe Chandler Bing from Friends.
I didn't even know Chandler Bing had a job.
Yeah, basically what his first job was before he started doing the writing. That's basically what I do.
Wow. Awesome. So you do not sleep and you work all day.
No, I do sleep. Like I had a 16-hour sleep on Saturday.
So you sleep like 1 day a week.
No, like I regularly get like 8 hours, like the stream itself. But like again, like today was a bank holiday as well, so it's like a bit more kind of leeway there. But the yeah, like it's kind of like because a lot of my job is kind of like once the like I either have the dashboard there or whatever, it's like there's that kind of, like I said, kind of like I can get stuff done ahead of time, so then it's like it's not like stressful or whatever, or kind of like work it like that kind of thing. But yeah, like usually I get 8 hours a day, work 8 hours a day, and then have 8 hours leisure or whatever it's called. You know, because like most people, when you think about it, would have an hour's drive, an hour to and from. So that's like an extra 2 hours dedicated to work, and then like you have the whole kind of like being able to wake up and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
that kind of weird with another. So it's like basically spend half your day or dedicate half your day in terms of like work, or Monday to Friday at least. And that's about 2,000 hours a year, 40 hours a week. Do you know what I mean? So there's a
Wow.
lot, you know.
All right. Any last conspiracies you want to cover? And
I have
do you live alone?
No, like I'm living with the folks, but it's like it's a big 4 or 5 bedroom house, so plenty of space. But that's another thing as well that you get on the savings too. It's because it's like when you think about like rent, Wi-Fi, electricity, heating, or if that's wrapped into your electricity, but like refuse, all that kind of stuff. Because I've lived like by myself down in Cork for a couple of years. Then I lived with mates for a couple of years, and then I end up coming back to the folks. It's like, why the fuck am I paying this much for rent? Because like half my paycheck at one stage was going towards this shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what most people do. But anyways, yeah, I think people should live with their parents until they get married. It's insane that people are so quick to want to like leave and get their own debt.
But your man Khabib from UFC, the guy who beat McGregor, like he even with his wife, he lived with his parents purely because he wanted to have that experience of what the like a marital relationship is like and all that kind of stuff. Like you learn a lot from living with your parents and all that. Obviously you learn a lot from moving out as well. But like I said, like I'd say at least do both. But when it comes down to like financial savings and all that stuff, it makes too much sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I know in Indian culture, even famous celebrities and stuff, they live with one of the parents and
Well, in a
forever.
lot, in a lot of those cultures,
Oh,
also,
you're
if you
low.
get married, they would. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me better now?
A little bit higher.
Okay, so in
Yeah.
a lot of those cultures, you'd usually see that when people got married, they would build an extension onto the family home. So you would live with the parents of either the husband or the wife, and the family would grow with the grandparents, right? So
Mhm.
that's very common in certain parts of Europe and in parts of India as well, and Africa, even certain African countries would do that as well, where you'd live with the family, like you'd build an expansion on the home. But now you've got certain kind of, you need permits if you want to build an expansion. You can't do it. You only own this. You don't actually own the land. You know,
Mhm.
in the UK, for example, it's pretty much impossible to do that. And culturally now we feel that that's strange. But you know, they'll tell you that, oh yeah, let the kids move out, pay rent to somebody else instead of kind of renting the home or renting a room from your parents and keeping the money within your own family. It's other cultures have got it right on that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, in Iran, I know that's what they do. You build like a second story or whatever attachment,
Yeah.
and you just keep on. And it's always been like that. And this whole, you have to start your own nuclear family, that's just to sell mortgages. It's always been a term for mortgages. And, you know, living away or moving to the city to have more opportunity was always sold as something greater than it turned out to be. Cities are dirty and disgusting and overpriced. And yeah, you make more, but you have to spend more. So ultimately, most jobs, you'd be better off if you stayed in a smaller town.
Plus, I always love like fucking like joke with my dad as well. So it's like you have that kind of whole relationship with your folks as well. That's like it's nice to have. Like I said, like the reason why I'm able to roast the bitch so hard is because of him as well. You know what I mean? His wisdom, his wise words. You know what I mean? But yeah, like I said, kind of like things you learn as well, just like to be stoic and all that kind of shit. You learn the female nature as well. You know, like me mom, my sister having fucking fights across the kitchen, all that kind of shit. You know what I mean? So it's for me, it's kind of like I said, like I'd still kind of tell someone like at like 18, 19 to at least like move out and rent for a couple of years just to kind of get that experience. And then, like I said, once they kind of realize how much it actually costs nowadays, it's like, fuck that shit. You know what I mean? So, like I said, there's that whole aspect to it as well, where it's like, you know, you have two guys in front of you. It's like, as a woman, it's like, okay, this guy makes 100 grand, this guy makes 50 grand. You'd be tempted to go for a 100 grand guy, but at the same time, if he's spending like 90% of his paycheck, he's basically a broke boy. Whereas the guy with 50 grand, if he's, you know, able to save something like 90% of his paycheck, then all of a sudden he's kind of elevated in terms of the grand schemes of once you take out taxes and then expenses. You know what I mean? So it's like there's a lot of nuance when it comes down to like like I said, like you can be wealthy minded way before you actually have the wealth. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I don't know. I think like there's so much damage done in the media by everyone telling women that they need to move out on their own and they need to find a guy who has everything up front and you just move in to like an already curated life. But that's not realistic and they're not going to find that unless they're tens or something. Let's just imagine. But most people are just regular people and you have to find someone and build with them, at least in the beginning.
But I mean, like that's the aspect to it as well. It's like if you have a job that's 100K a year, you're putting in, you know, at least 60 hours, I'd say. You know what I mean? Give or take. And then that's on top of like any kind of like bills you're going to have from college education to get to that level. Now, again, people can work their way up from, you know, like the 50K and then, you know, through the company themselves. And then all of a sudden they just elevate their education or their roles internally. And then from that, they can develop that way. But like I said, it's that whole kind of aspect where it's just not as simple as like, okay, 100K a year, because you could have a coke addiction or anything like that that's basically draining those resources. Like I said, probably a good thing for women to be able to ask guys like, okay, what is your budget? Be able to say how much you spend on food a year. And if he can't answer, then you know what I mean? Whereas if you come across someone like me, I'd be like, bitch, I spend $600 a year.
Okay, well, you're insane though. Like, I would not say that. I asked my husband how much we spend it. I think the equivalent would be like maybe like $900 a month.
Yeah, so but like that's a family. You know what I mean? So it's like it makes sense because there's at least two people. Like
$900
even
a
on the
month.
average.
Yeah, I said what I
How many
said.
babies do you have? It's like,
Well, I mean, are we counting like the pets or just like the humans?
Just humans.
yeah,
Just
you can
one.
save money if you eat the pets.
I mean, we could
And
feed the pets to each other.
yeah, that's my plan for when I become dictator.
Nice.
You don't need to give food stamps to unemployed people who have 15 kids. Every time you have a baby, eat
Send them down the
baby.
pound.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Like, no, I'm sorry, you don't get food stamps. You don't get government paychecks if you're having babies, you lose everything once you do that. Like, no, but no, moving on though, but still £900, $900 a month for food. Like, wow.
Yeah, we get everything because we don't have real food in the grocery store. Unlike Europe, they have more regulations. We don't have any food in the grocery store, so we have to go. There's a farm. I don't know where they are. I think they're in Kansas or Texas or something, where I buy meat in bulk and they ship it to us. There is an Amish farm that illegally sends and ships us raw dairy and pastured eggs and blah, 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 all that stuff without the junk in it. And there's a farmer's market 2 hours away that we go every other weekend to get some more stuff. But yeah, like,
But 900 makes sense for a family. Because like I know single people who spend like $7,000 a year on food, and that's like because they're doing like Uber Eats and all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean as well? But like I said, the whole kind of like how much you spend on food, like that's a huge chunk of your paycheck. But like I said, even in terms of family, like two people, even just two people spending 10 grand, that makes sense in terms of, at least from my experience. Like, how much do you spend, Damon?
$20.
No, I'm pretty sensible with my food budget. Like I said, I mean, um, I just I just eat for the energy, man. Sometimes I'll splash out. I'll buy myself some nice stuff, but most of the money goes on. I mean, I've got a deal for the protein that I buy, so I get discounts on that. But the most expensive stuff is the meat, to be honest. I like eating good meat when I eat meat, so most of the time I'll go for fillet. Fillet steak is like about 50 or 60 pound a kilo. Um, so that kind of sets me back, which is why most of the time now I try to substitute it for turkey. Turkey's a lot cheaper, but you do feel it when you go for training. It doesn't feel as good as when you eat actual red meat.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll go for sirloin, but I treat myself to the fillet. But I can substitute that out if I want to. But I eat a lot. Like once a week, I'll eat about 1.5 kilos in a day of fillet steak. That's like after my big training.
And
It's
how
broken
much a
down
month are
into
you spending though on in terms of?
um when I'm being sensible, probably about probably be around about 400, 450.
That's around $570. But like that, like I said, that kind of makes sense. But I mean, that cat spending 900.
Yeah, I know, but that's not just for me, right? That's not just for me. And if you equal it out, like some of the stuff that I'm buying, I mean, if we're just counting just me alone would probably be close to around 200 a month.
Okay, so then that would be
50 quid a
about
week.
about $250. We're kind of talking. Like I said, like probably like Cat could probably kind of like reduce a bit, but like she said, she's kind of like buying kind of very specific or specialized in terms of like the she's not fucking talking to
Yeah,
Amish
you want to
people
save
over
money,
there, you know?
Cat. You want to save money, Cat. Move to Europe. Move to Europe where you don't have that stuff in the food.
I mean, I wish. It's just that how licensing is, my husband can't do what he does in another country. He'd have to like go back to school and get different licensing.
Makes
They
sense.
make it impossible to move. Even some other states, he would need to like do stuff.
But I feel as though like we touched like all the kind of perfect bases where it's like I'm one extreme where I'm spending less a year than Cat is a month, and Cat's like spending 900 a month, and then Damon's kind of like that like happy middle of like 45 or 450. You know what I mean?
I mean, look, I found that the easiest way to save money is you buy the shit that's long lasting in bulk.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that you can buy. If you buy in bulk, you just save so much damn money. It's insane. You know, like there's places that will cut deals for you. Like if you are a gym goer, if you do know that you're going to want a lot of protein, you buy a year's supply of protein and they'll give you massive discounts on it. Dried foods and stuff that that you want, you can find loads of discount stuff. It's harder in the UK than in America. Like in America, you can go to places that you can just bulk buy stuff. In places like the UK, it's usually harder to find those kind of things, but you've still got like things like Costco. The deals in the UK aren't as good as in America, but you know, you can go to actual distributors. You can approach distributors and say, look, can I buy this much? Like, can I get a discount? They'll be like, yeah, sure, go for it. I've got contacts that work in you know, the dining industry, like, you know, that have restaurants or bars. And if you've got friends who do that, you can just buy it through them. You do a lot of stuff you can buy like dirt cheap if you buy like a year's supply. And this is
That's
stuff
good
that isn't
advice.
going to go off. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like, especially people who are training. But I just got together with 6 other guys at the gym, and I just said to this guy, look, if I buy a 6-year supply for myself, he's just like, yeah, go for it, dude. I'll sell it for you right now. And you end up paying about 30% of the total value, and you just get a 6-year supply of it, and you divide it up with 6 of your friends, and you're all good.
Good show actually, because like I said, kind of like the push up, it's basically the amount that you can buy. They'll keep adding on the discount. And like I said, if it's 30% of
Yeah,
what the original is, or the shelf price, that's that you're getting like three times the value. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
I think recently they stopped selling certain types of rice in the US. We stopped importing it from India. And the rice now tastes like plastic. I don't care what anybody says.
Well,
Go
there
to
is
the
the whole.
Filipino communities. There's Filipino communities in Texas. Whereabouts are you? What state are you in?
Florida.
Florida. Oh, there's Filipinos in Florida.
A
If you
few.
can't find them, go to a hospital. They work in hospitals. They love hospitals. So
Yeah, I
just
know.
ask them where they buy their rice. They'll sell it to you for cheap. Right?
We have a lot of
They
like Oriental markets and stuff like that here too. But still, everything is like processed food or just weird. It's not how it
yeah,
used
no,
to be.
Filipinos are the authority. I'm sorry. You'd think Chinese, no, Filipinos. Filipinos know their rice. And
Well,
they don't
Persians
like,
are known for rice too.
yeah, 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 you guys do the whole jeweled rice thing.
Yeah, a whole and the like the rice cakes with all the layers and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
That's the
Or
best.
just screw rice and go for couscous. Couscous is a lot better.
Ew. If I have
Couscous
to
is
do
awesome.
couscous, forget it. It's like not worth living. I need my rice. I need
I love
basmati
couscous.
rice with the smell. Put rose water in it.
Yeah, yeah. Saffron. Ask Alex. Alex is the dealer for saffron.
Oh, he has saffron hookups?
Yeah, yeah, he's a saffron dealer.
Really?
No, no, but
With un-
he knows where to get good. He knows where to get good saffron. Apparently, I'm gonna see if he can hook me up when he gets to the UK. I say
Nice,
just
nice.
screw that. Just pack a suitcase full of saffron.
Yeah, we would get some shipped and they would always take stuff out of the packages and replace it with stuff that's the same weight
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
time.
That's why I asked him. Like, is it actually saffron? Because there's places in the UK and like you go to like some of the Turkish markets and other places like that where they import loads of stuff. And they're like, yeah, we've got saffron here. You look at it and you're like, that is not fucking saffron. Don't know what it is, but it's not saffron.
Yeah, we were showing some that we got from the store to my stepfather, and he's like, I had just gotten back from Iran. I was picking saffron off the flowers and stuff like that. This is not it. And then he's like yelling at us, how come you don't know how to tell? And we're like, I don't know.
Yeah, you only get like, don't you only get like 2 little bits of each flower?
Yeah, it's just the
Yeah,
stem.
the little stamen. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
only like 2 on every flower. Like,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh damn.
Yeah. And he would have to
When
pick
you look at the
thousands a day.
Yeah, when you look at the weight of it, you should just approach the guys who've got like, you know, opium fields, you know, like growing weed, and just like, guys, stop this shit. Just grow saffron. You're gonna make a lot more money. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah, and there's nothing like it's not even illegal. Like, why don't people think about this?
yeah. I mean, the climate is a big thing. Yeah, there's just some places where it's not gonna grow,
Yeah, of course.
or if
But
it grows, it's just it's not gonna taste right. It's not gonna have the right color and flavor.
Call me crazy. I'll still pick my peanuts any day. I said $720 a year on food. That is like, I dare anyone to try find a cheaper budget than that
nobody wants to, though.
with the right nutrients. I'm telling you. Like I said, you're just getting like good fat, you're getting good protein. What's there
I
to lose,
mean,
Kat?
your bones probably are leaching minerals. We need to test that.
Well, wait, what test do I have to get actually? Because like I am willing to do like these full body tests or whatever just to prove. I was saying that I'm not like dying.
Okay.
Have you checked your cholesterol?
No, how do I do that? Right, let me
Just go to
know.
go to the GP. Even some pharmacists, you can just do a test right there.
Do GP. Go to GP and do what?
Just ask them. Tell them that you want to have your cholesterol tested. But some pharmacies, I think, you've got Boots in Ireland, right?
Yeah.
I think Boots has got like that you can walk in and just do a test for cholesterol. I think.
Yeah, but is that all you need to get tested is cholesterol, or
No,
like,
do the CBC test.
what's that?
Complete blood count. It's just a test of like a lot of things, and do a micronutrients panel and check your thyroid. I'm interested in seeing what's going on there.
Okay.
And I would also so you can have a baseline, check your hormones, because you're like of the age where you should have a baseline.
Okay. And anything else?
Did I say bone density thing?
Bone density. So
I'm just thinking, like, if your diet is pretty much just peanuts, a way of knowing if it's fucked up or not is cholesterol first, because that's the thing that I'd be worried about if you're just eating peanuts and nothing else.
Yeah.
well, apparently they have good cholesterol.
No, they don't.
What?
There's
Are they roasted, raw,
yeah.
dry roasted? Which ones have you got? Which ones have you got?
Oil roasted with salt.
Sorry,
Oil roasted with salt.
roasted with salt.
Yeah.
Yeah, check your cholesterol, dude. Like,
Okay.
it's just pushing through blood vessels that are like half a millimeter open. It's like,
Possibly. But like I said, man, the whole kind of debate against smoking and vaping for me is that like one is burnt material, the other is water vapor.
It's not just
Yeah.
water. You know that, right?
water doesn't belong in your lungs, dude.
Yeah. It's called drowning.
Yeah, but I'm not drowning. You know what I'm saying?
You're
It's like,
slowly drowning.
but for me, like I always figured it's more so of like kind of like just a habit, kind of like just like the saying like good thinkers are good smokers kind of thing.
No,
No, I've never heard that.
you just made that up.
No, it's in Colombo. I'm telling you, it's actually in Colombo.
Yeah, well, Columbo was a degenerate smoker, alcoholic.
Hey, so is Andrew Wilson. I'm just saying there is some sort of correlation. I'm just saying a lot of good thinkers are smokers.
Oh
Can
my-
you say for me with your Irish accent, just one more thing?
Just one more thing.
Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah, but yeah, just in terms of like the peanuts, right? Peanuts can have beneficial impact on cholesterol levels and overall heart health. Research suggests that consuming
Research from the
peanuts
peanut industry. Stop.
research
Oh my
suggests that
God.
consuming peanuts as part of a balanced diet
Is
can
there
help
is there
improve
is
cholesterol.
there a source? Is there a source for that research?
And who
It,
funded this study?
it lowers
Reese's.
LDL. It lowers
Reese's.
LDL and increases HDL.
Funded by Hershey's and Reese's.
From the European Journal of Clinical
Funded by
Nutrition
Skippy.
in 2017, found that daily consumption of peanuts associated with a 10% reduction in LDL cholesterol levels, while without negatively affecting body weight. This suggests that
Does it say
incorporating peanuts into a healthy, balanced diet can have positive effects on cholesterol levels and heart health.
does it say that it's incorporating oil roasted salty peanuts?
Or were
What
they
can I say?
boiled?
Okay, I don't
Not
understand.
in rapeseed oil, which is horrible.
What will cause the difference here? What's the big difference here?
Rapeseed oil is terrible for you. Look up
Uh,
rapeseed oil and cholesterol.
Rapeseed oil is actually good. Rapeseed oil is good though. The smoking point on it.
See?
No, it isn't.
Pika?
Look it up.
You gotta. One of the things that people don't factor in is the smoke factor of the different oils. Rapeseed oil is actually really good if you're frying. Or
It's
roasting
canola
food.
oil. Rapeseed oil is canola oil.
Rapeseed oil, which is also known as canola oil, has been associated with potential benefits for cholesterol levels and heart health. It is low in saturated fat and high in monosaturated and
Oh my
polyunsaturated
God.
fats, which is considered to be healthier fats. Studies have shown replacing the saturated fats with rapeseed
It's
oil
a
can lower
seed
total cholesterol,
oil. Stop.
while also increasing HDL, which is the same thing. Like, what are we talking about here,
Fruits
folks?
are good for you. Every single fruit has seeds. Since when did seeds become bad?
Oh my gosh, it's the processing. It's the processing. They're not putting it through like the old-timey processing like with the olives. Oh my God. I can't with you guys. But just keep believing these studies. Oh my gosh.
A
Just
study,
like
a study published by the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 2017 found that. Oh wait, that's peanuts again.
No, but like there's certain oils that you put on food, and then there's certain oils that are better to fry in, right? Now
yeah,
that's based
coconut
on the
oil.
smoke point. That's based on the
Yes,
smoking
yes.
point, right? So like rapeseed oil is good because of its smoking point, but olive oil isn't good for frying and cooking. Olive oil is good to put on the food afterwards or put on salads or whatever. But you don't like look at Italians and look. There's people in certain parts of the world that will just drink a cup of olive oil, like it's good for your gut. It's good for the digestion. They'll just drink olive oil, right? It's like they've been doing it their entire life. And I mean, if you look at cooking it, like you know how like it pretty much. You got to look at how you're going to use it. You got to look at how you're going to use it. You can't just. I get what you're saying with the seed oils, but for frying, I can't read that. That's tiny.
How do I do it?
I can read it. Refined omega-6 seed oils such as canola, soybean, corn, peanut, sunflower, safflower, vegetable, and rapeseed oil, when consumed, create inflammation. They're linked to LPS,
Lipopolysaccharides
which comes from the cell membrane of gram-negative bacteria.
is bad for you, brah.
Do you eat probiotics?
Oh,
I
it
have
has nothing
probiotics
to
here.
what?
You have
Are
probiotics.
are they spored probiotics or are they refrigerated probiotics?
What probiotic is it? What bacteria does it say it is?
Lactobacillus acidophilus NCMB, bunch of numbers. And then blifla flafla. I can't pronounce half this shit. Can you read that? Oh wait, no.
No.
Wait.
It's just a blob of white.
Okay, wait. Let me try this.
No, it's never going to happen. Just try to read the words.
Yeah,
Just try
I
to
think it's
read
like
slowly.
lactobacillus
Okay.
acidophilus.
Uh-huh.
Is that a good
Right.
one?
Yeah, but it would
So,
need to be
Kat,
refrigerated.
which one do you eat, Kat?
Megaspore biotic. It's a sporulated one, so it's encapsulated in the spores, so it will not open and will not go rancid or go bad and die until it reaches your stomach.
Right. Do you know which one it is, though?
What this particular strains? No, I'd
Yeah.
have to go look for it.
Okay. Now, what prebiotics do you eat?
I take inulin and it's like artichoke or something, inulin, something like that.
Right. Okay. Take the best of each, right? That's the one that you want to take. Take the best of each. The problem is that a lot of people who have problems with their gut, I'm sure your husband will tell you, many of the people who have problems with their gut usually look for help for it because they will suffer from things like that would normally that they would have to be put on the FODMAP diet for because they feel bloated all the time or they have like stomach upsets, they have a sensitive stomach. Unfortunately, most of the prebiotic foods out there are the foods that people who suffer with that kind of stuff can't eat because it makes their symptoms worse, right?
Well, yeah.
So the best prebiotic that you can have, which is going to feed the probiotics,
Don't say peanuts.
are no,
Peanuts are a prebiotic.
no, but you need it in enough volume where you're going to actually be feeding that bacteria effectively, right? So you need it in enough of a volume. The best one is actually what is it? Sun fiber, right? So, and the best probiotic is Bacillus coagulans. So it's spore forming, but it survives the environment of the stomach. So the stomach acid isn't going to kill it. There's loads of spore forming bacteria that dies once it reaches the stomach acid. So it doesn't make its way to the rest of the gut. So if you buy, you can buy Bacillus coagulans. It's not that expensive. But then you've got to feed that bacteria. It's going to keep multiplying because it's spore forming, but you've got to feed it. And sun fiber is the best thing. I think, have you heard of OptiFiber? I think Nestle make it.
I do not get things made by Nestle.
Get over that. Give them some money. It doesn't matter. It's good shit. It's one of those just like round cardboard tubs. And you just take a tiny scoop of it. I think it's like a 5-gram scoop in the morning, stick it in some water, drink it. And it's basically pure sun fiber, right? So that's going to feed the rest of it. You do that for 2 weeks, you're going to feel amazing. Like seriously, just 2 weeks, have the Bacillus coagulans, take the sun fiber, your gut's going to feel 100 times better. You can eat all of the meat, you can do your carnivore thing, and you're not going to have any problems. You're going to feel great. Really good for inflammation. It lines your gut, so because most of these problems that people are suffering with today, even heart issues, everything else, the one thing that many of these people have is they've got leaky gut syndrome.
Yeah.
Right. And eating a good probiotic and feeding it with a good prebiotic, that bacteria is going to secrete the enzymes that lines your gut and protects your gut. So you're not going to have leaky gut syndrome.
This is just partially hydrolyzed gar gum.
Yeah, guar gum. Yeah.
Mm. Okay.
But yeah, like that, this stuff like peanuts being considered the prebiotic, like explains like what basically happened with my gut. I think the fact that it was like I was kind of having all these pains, all the stuff when I switched to peanuts, it was kind of like out of nowhere, just all stopped. But like I said, I'm kind of like that guy who always wants to be kind of keep pushing it. You know what I mean? That little bit extra to try and make sure that we're kind of 100% and all that. that's why it's like I said, I'm going to try the carnivore and all that. But like I said, I'm going to make sure that I still eat some peanuts, just so it's not going to be like a shotgun. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. Do you take protein as well, though?
No, like I said, I just rely on the protein from the plants. You know, the show the guns. Look at this. We got some footballs. We got some American footballs right there. You know what I'm saying?
What is that?
Let's see that again. Cat,
Well,
can you make it a bit bigger? I can't see.
Oh, I'm
let's
sorry.
do that again.
This is embarrassing.
wait, what do you mean embarrassing? Look at that. Look at that.
Oh,
Those
yeah,
are
look,
footballs.
It's
Once
tiny.
more. Hold it up a second. Yeah, yeah. That's
Somebody
looks,
take a picture.
Oh
it
shit!
looks like
Yeah,
no, that's
don't do that too much.
it looks-
Grace would be on my case.
Yeah, show it to Grace. Just be like, hey, it looks like an arm, just a bit smaller. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
And
Your
what can I say?
forearms and
I
biceps
like
are the
having
same
balance.
size.
It's like the one thing I don't want is like huge arms, because then like you can't touch your back, can't do stretches and all that. Do you know what I mean?
He's wiry. That's working muscle. That's farmhand muscle.
Yeah, that's lean. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, like this has been
Yeah.
like a nice kind of like health, fitness kind of like type of.
We should
discussion.
work out. We should work out how big Teriak's carbon footprint is with all that vaping.
That's where Greta has me. I think that's why I like realistically like I need an out here, fellas. Do you know what I mean? Coming for me,
Did you say Greta? Yeah.
Greta Thunberg. Yeah,
That's gonna
that bitch wants
Yeah.
fucking everybody fucking dead.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Oh.
call her Gretard.
Good name. It's a good name.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Start using it as a slur. You're so gretarded.
Oh my gosh.
I think we should, man. I think we should. Fucking man, my setup here is not working.
What kind of setup you got there?
Again, the cheapest one possible known to man. I think my camera's like 50. These stands I think were like 20 or 30. I think I got them on sale. What you call it? The mic actually, to be fair, is I spent a bit on that. I think it was like 150. So that almost broke the bank there. And yeah, but like the thing about this one though is it's like the wave mic, but a lot of it's kind of like the software that's inside is what you're paying for basically, and it's like you get constant updates and all that.
What's the brand?
The Elgato, I think, or
Elgato?
Elgato.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, it's just like good software. I'd rather have the software than the hardware. There's not much more else. Do you know what I mean? Like have the camera, have
Is
the
there a
mic.
peanut dispenser?
Ah,
No, like basically I have to have a box of peanuts. You know what I mean? Let me show you the box.
Oh, here it's gonna be now. Fucking hell! Oh my god! Oh my
oh my
god!
god. That's so sad.
That's what I was saying earlier. That's bar supplies.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you never know when these World Health Organization cunts are going to cut off the food supply. So you got to keep stocked. You know what I'm saying?
Jesus. Did you replace regular butter with peanut butter?
No, like I said, I just eat the peanuts because you don't even have to cook. You know what I mean? It's just literally open up a pack, boom.
No, but I was just thinking, like, if you ever make yourself a sandwich, you just like, nah, fuck butter. I just use peanut butter.
Nah, man, like let me tell you actually how I cook a steak, right? I get a nice ribeye, let it rest for about 30 minutes before I do anything to it. You know what I mean? You want to get a nice room temperature. Then what I do is I dry it off with a bit of paper towel and I lash that baby with some salt and some pepper. All sides, make sure you get the sides too. Now, in the process of doing this, what I've done is I've left the pan on the heat, high heat, max heat that you possibly can. You get the heat right nice into the pan. You get that sear right off the bat, essentially, right? So then what you get ready to do is you basically turn the heat down to mid-heat, but you keep the pan on. This is basically just before the pan starts to smoke. You put in your rapeseed oil. Don't at me. And then you basically throw in your two ribeye steaks, let's say, right? You're a big boy, you want two ribeye steaks. Basically what you want to do is like let them settle for you know, 2-3 minutes on that side. You know, make sure you kind of give the pan a nice kind of like turn so they don't actually stick to the pan.
Wait, you cook a steak 2 or 3 minutes on one side?
No, that's not the whole process. There's a whole process to this. Damn, do you know what I'm saying?
No, but
'Cause
I'm saying, like, is one side on the pan for 2 or 3 minutes?
yeah.
Oh shit!
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
Nah, me, it's like minute one side, minute the other side.
Nah, man. You want to make sure that you get a nice kind of like you don't want to flip it too soon. Do you know what I'm saying? You want to get a nice kind of like seared the first side, and then when you flip it, that's when you kind of let it sit for like a minute, and then my friend, you throw in the butter. You get some not like I'm talking about full fat butter. You want the tastiest butter you can possibly get. Throw that in, good healthy amount, and then what? Instead of actually putting a clove of garlic in, what I personally like get garlic salt because I think it mixes with the butter better. And then when you're basting the
better.
two steaks, you're basically you have that whole kind of garlic and buttery kind of like base going on with the two steaks. Then, like I said, from there it's like you just kind of like even it out, and it should be good to go.
Okay, try doing this, right? When you put the oil in at the beginning, right? Get a whole bulb of garlic, not just one clove, a whole bulb of garlic, right?
No, you get the
Soak it, hold up,
salt.
hang a second. So soak it and then take the bits of the skin, the papery bits. Don't peel the whole thing, but just the loose bits. Take that off, right? Let it dry for about half an hour before you start cooking, right? But you cut it in half, right? Through the cloves, right? Cut it in half through the cloves. So when you look at it, you see all of the cloves split in half, right? When you put the oil on, put the garlic cut side down, both sides. So you use the whole bulb of garlic, the whole bulb, right? And you're letting all of the oil come out of the garlic onto the pan, right? So when you put your steaks down, it's gonna taste properly nice of garlic, right? When you fry them.
No, because you're going to get burnt garlic on the pan. You know
You're
what I'm
not
saying?
going to eat the garlic. You're not going to eat the garlic.
Yeah, but
That's the whole point. The
it's going to
garlic is going to
affect
burn.
because that's going to go into the butter and then the buttery oily kind of
No,
shit.
the oil's going to come in. It's not going to taste burnt. Trust me, it's not going to taste burnt.
I know it won't taste burnt, but I'm just saying it like it's less less risk, let's say, off burn it if you just have the garlic salt there. Sprinkle that in
Thank you,
as you throw the
Drake.
butter.
Thank you, Drake. Okay, I'm going to say something that Drake might find controversial, but I recommend people try it. Okay, it helps you cut down on salt, and it also tastes quite nice. But people might be freaked out by it. The other thing that you do, and I know Drake is probably going to want to hate me for this, but please at least try it first. When I had to cut down on salt, and they're also very healthy for you, before you add the meat to the pan, when the oil's in there, anchovies, put a couple of anchovies down in the pan. They're going to melt, right? They're going to fall apart, completely melt. And when they're kind of like just like little bits on the pan, then you cook your steak. It isn't going to taste fishy. It's going to taste salty, and it's healthy. Okay? Especially with the garlic, really good flavor.
Get your omega-3 in there as well.
Yeah.
Or as I like to use, my fish oils. Not sponsored, by the way.
Anytime I cook meat, I always throw anchovy on first. Just melt it into the oil and then cook the meat. If you're doing mince, if you're doing chili con carne, if you're doing any kind of bolognese, anything like that, a little bit of anchovies in it. It helps with the saltiness, but it's also healthy and it doesn't taste fishy.
Because there's little tricks like that where it's like what I do is particularly on pizza is if you're ever getting like, let's say a chicken pizza or whatever, you put bacon on it instead of, let's say, pepperoni, because the pepperoni will be like very acidic and like a fat kind of you get from it. Whereas the bacon, at least you get that natural kind of fat that's not very acidic, but to his own, to his taste, as they say. Because I know people like they love fucking like they just love as much spice as possible on the pizza. But yeah, like I said, like little tricks like that with the anchovy, because it's like it's typically not fish. You don't get like a really fishy taste of that. You just get, like you said, the salty taste. You know what I mean? So there's like different things that you can add. Like it's the same thing you do with bacon, although bacon is a little bit more kind of like a porky taste, so it kind of interferes with the beef.
Yeah. I mean, I used to love pepperoni when I was younger, but then like here everyone's like, oh, processed, you need to be careful. And I love chorizo as well, but like you said, like sometimes chorizo is going to taste a bit acidic depending on how you cook it.
True, true. But yeah,
You
Kat,
know what I
what's
love
your favorite
recently
dish?
because I do love spicy food though, and I also like that stuff. And I know sometimes, processed stuff you got to avoid it, but nduja is amazing. Oh, I love nduja. Oof, spicy, delicious.
No idea, but okay.
You don't know nduja sausage?
No.
Oh, check it out. N''Duja. It's very soft. You can kind of spread it. So like again, it's one of those things that when you cook it, it'll kind of like soften up and break apart. And it goes really well like in a sauce. You're doing some pasta
Oh.
arrabbiata. You can mix that into it.
I mean, if I was a place where they had this fresh, I would get it. But I have histamine problems. So if I have stuff that's really old, it gets higher in histamines, like processed meats and stuff.
Take a few Piriton before you eat it. You'll be fine. At some point, you just like go with it. Doesn't matter. It's worth it.
I mean, no, it looks good. Like for me, histamines go up the week before and the week of my period. So that's when I have to be super low histamine. But the rest of the time, I can do that.
Wait, Tarek,
Yeah,
you're asking favorite food, right?
yeah. I was going to ask you basically like, what was
Peanuts.
your favorite food when you're on your period, but we'll just go favorite food.
Wait, who?
Both of us. Like I said, it's kind of getting into this kind of culinary kind of talk now, like the
Okay,
whole kind of
but
food aspect of the
okay,
fitness health.
sure. We're talking about food. So, are we talking healthy food or just like if I want to be indulgent?
Yeah, do both. Like what's kind of like, let's say you're kind of something you think that tastes really, really good, but it's like really, really healthy, and then the most indulgent, like you're pigging out, you're going ham. You know what I mean?
Okay. So for healthy but like tastes really good, I like a filet mignon with béarnaise sauce. My husband makes it. And let's see. Then probably like if I want to be super healthy, I think there's a specific type of mango, I forgot what it's called, that I like. The other types of mangoes are trash, only that one. And then I would probably have some wild blueberries with mascarpone cheese. And I just dip it in the mascarpone cheese and then eat that for dessert. And it's healthy.
Fancy. Damon, yourself?
Healthy food. Like when I had to
Healthy,
cut weight.
indulgent.
Okay, so there's no such thing for me when it comes to that. It's like
Try
I can't do
to come up
healthy
with.
and indulgent. Okay, one healthy food that's kind of indulgent, I really do love it. Is you make like a kind of potato salad, like super thin sliced white onions, right? Super thinly sliced, and you cover them in salt, squeeze them, leave them in a bowl until they start draining, and then you wash them. You cover them with water and you strain it off, and boil some potatoes, slice them up, and then you get mackerel and just flake the mackerel into it, mix it all together. I really love that. I used to eat that after training quite a lot. It's really good. And it's the peppered mackerel, smoked mackerel that's peppered. Yeah, have that with a lot of pepper. You don't really need to put too much salt in it, and it's just really delicious. I love that. But mainly, ah, just reading Drake's comment. But there's an indulgent food that I really love. I've got a lot of friends in Croatia, and I love Croatian food. It's kind of unhealthy, but they're people who are very good with moderation, so they're quite sensible. But there's this thing that they have. It's called mlinty. It's a flatbread, a dried flatbread. It's just flour and water. But they use it almost like a pasta. They break it up and they cover it in boiled water for a little while and strain it out. And it's kind of pasta, but it's got a good bite to it. It's the consistency is really nice. So they serve this with roast duck, and they cook the duck at a really high heat. It's not like how we eat duck in the UK, where they try to have it like a little bit rare in the middle. But they cook it on a really high heat, so it releases all those really good juices. And then they throw this dried flatbread type pasta thing onto the dish, and it collects up all of the duck fat, and it's just something amazing about it. It's just so damn delicious. I love that. And they do it with this really nice salad where it's like thin sliced cucumber that they put freshly minced garlic on and a bit of sour cream, and it's mixed together, and and loads of pepper. It's delicious. I love that stuff. Yeah, awesome.
So when are you going to have your own cooking channel?
I wish I had the time. I can't. I don't. I have to be really sensible with my diet. So I'm one of those people who, if I talk about food, I kind of satisfy myself, and then I don't really need to eat it. And other people are like, "I'm hungry. Shut up. Stop talking about it." But yeah, I can handle it just by talking about it and thinking about it.
So how much peanuts did you just eat?
Oh,
Peanuts. I said peanuts.
Yeah, like I said,
he came
like, for
back
me,
wiping his mouth. He was wiping his mouth when he came back.
it was like I said, that's the herb, but hey, it is what it is. Like for me, like peanuts, like I said, between 200 to 400 grams. Of some days where it's like I said, you just kind of feel as though you eat more, or you want more kind of thing. I generally tend to try to listen to my body in terms of like if I'm kind of too full or kind of too empty or whatever in terms of that. But in terms of like pigging out food, it's probably between like a smash burger, like a proper kind of like proper done smash burger. Don't even really need much condiments. It's literally just like the smash burger itself, maybe some onions onto that as well.
Do
And
you
then
fry the
pizza.
shit out of the onions?
No, like basically I do it like Oklahoma style, where it's like I smash, basically put the onions on top of the mince, and then I smash it all in together, and then flip it over, so it's basically they're frying when it gets flipped. But
Okay.
like I said, like that kind of like high fat mince kind of like smash burger kind of deal. Because it's like you're basically using like the fat as a condiment essentially. And then
That's
because you
good.
have that like crisp and then the juiciness to it as well. And then like I said, pizza as well is always a good what you call it, like splurge or whatever, because like I said, you can basically put anything you want on it, so it's caters to so many audiences. It's like Subway, do you know what I mean? It's basically it. You can have a Chinese style, you can have it like regular style, you can have make a pizza yourself with the ham thing and all that. So yeah, like that is for me. But like in terms of kind of like, let's say a kind of you kind of go like max out on price, like you think about like the fancy kind of like restaurants, like a fancy steakhouse with, let's say, like a tomahawk, gotta be like steak, medium rare. Like I said, just the meat itself is kind of like I said, like that would be another thing where it's kind of, let's say, a healthy-ish kind of splurge because it's just meat. You know what I mean?
Do you know, I love that you said with the burger though, like use the fat as the condiment, man.
Mhm.
This is why so many high-end burger places fail, because they just think, no, but you know what I mean? They're like, we're gonna do like the best quality meat, and it's like, no, the best quality meat isn't what goes in a burger. Like they want
Yes.
to use like some lean meat with no fat, and it's like, no, you need fat. Fat is a burger is like your wife is the filet mignon, right? If you're gonna cheat on your wife, and I don't say that you should, but if you want something else other than a filet mignon, the burger it needs to be dirty. It needs to be a whore. You need that higher fat content, right? I'm not saying cheat with a fat girl, but the fat content is what makes it dirty, right? That's where the taste comes from in a burger. But when you go to gourmet burger and there's no fat in it, you're like, what the fuck is this? There's no flavor. That's where the
Mhm.
flavor comes in. You need the fat. And these places don't understand that, and they'll use like a good quality. you it can't be a good quality bun. It needs to be a cheap bun. It needs to be that cheap meat that's got a lot of fat in it, and it needs the stuff that I don't want. Like, oh, we're gonna use like a little bit of dill, and there's gonna be some capers on there. No, I want a fucking pickle. That's what I want. Don't be fancy. It's not a fancy thing. There's a reason why it's called fast food.
100%. And like that's what I'm
Cheap
saying.
and
Like
dirty, that's what you want.
it's
You
that kind of level, you know.
Yeah. When you cheat on your girl, you don't come home feeling good about yourself. You need to feel full of like regret and remorse.
Regret.
Like, what the fuck did
Yes,
I just eat? Oh
exactly.
my God. Yeah,
Like
you gotta feel bad about it.
that's what I'm saying. And I think that's like a key way on how to like stop yourself from binging. I think a lot of us, we try to do like like, you know, like low fat chocolate or something like that, like where it's like you're trying to act as though you're not splurging, so the
Yeah,
whole thing is that you can keep splurging. And like I
exactly.
said,
Yeah, exactly.
you
It
need to like
needs to
go
be a
like,
one and done. I did
yeah,
this.
like
I feel terrible.
exactly.
Never
And
gonna do
like
it
full
again.
fat, the full fat ice cream or whatever it is, it's like just go
Yeah,
all out for it, enjoy yourself, but then like I said, feel the regret, and then like you don't go back to it. Whereas I think a lot of it's like
exactly.
to eliminate the regret.
That's why an Indian is good. I'm not an Indian woman, Indian food. That's why Indian is good. Because even if you go to a curry house and you're like, I'm gonna be sensible, I'm just gonna order like a reasonable amount, you still can't fucking breathe. You're going home and you think you're gonna die. And you lie down and it's like Thanksgiving, you gotta unbutton everything. Because no matter what you eat, you just feel like you're gonna explode. And you know you're never going to do that again. Like, I think I've only ever eaten curry once a year because you just, yeah, honestly, you feel like you need to decompress afterwards. No matter what you eat.
Yep. And that's like I said, you have to go for like if you're gonna splurge, don't do a half measure, do a full measure. Treat
Yeah,
yourself, go
yeah.
all out. Because then, like I
Cheat
said,
days are
you'll be like,
supposed to be cheat days. Yeah.
you feel like like you one from was it Charlie and Chocolate Factory where she's basically like a blueberry. I mean, you're rolling up
Oh
into bed
yeah,
basically.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I forgot one other comfort food. Always love it. Leg of lamb. Leg of lamb. Moroccan
Yep.
style.
Oh,
Moroccan
Persian style's
style.
better.
Well, yeah, a mixture. Let's just say we don't want conflict. But like, no, the whole Razzle Hanu harissa paste, a little bit of that. Just slow cook it a good amount of time, 5 or 6 hours until it's falling off the bone. I like to take it off, break it up into little pieces, get rid of the bone, put it back in a high heat, crisp it up on the outside, but it's still moist on the inside. It's amazing. Amazing. I love lamb.
We make that every Friday, but Persian style seasonings.
Cool. Nice. Do you do couscous then or rice?
Couscous. What is with? Stop bringing up
Jesus
couscous. It's just
Christ.
so
I'm just
gross.
gonna wager.
What's the
Just gonna
difference?
wage a culture war here.
One of them tastes good. So yeah, I do basmati rice.
Do you do it with the pistachio? Do you do it with the pomegranate?
I do it with. You talking about the rice or the lamb?
Yeah, the rice.
Oh, the rice. I put rose water, cardamom, seed pods. This is not traditional, but we put I don't know what it's called, but it's like this Japanese thing, like a seaweedish thing that you put in there to get your iodine and stuff.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and saffron and stuff. Keep it simple. Make a nice crispy layer.
Yeah.
But anyways, guys, I know the food talk has been fun, but I think we should end it. It's almost 3 hours of talking crap.
But it was good crap.
It was random crap, which is always nice. It's always nice to have nice random crap. So I got some sounds. I want to try them out, and you tell me if they come out too loud or annoying. Okay? You can tell me if you can hear them. Okay.
Why are you gay?
Is it too low?
You are gay. Why are you gay?
Did you hear that?
A bit louder.
Yeah, let me try. Let me try another one.
I prefer men. I prefer
Yeah.
So
Lot of gay insinuation soundtrack. Okay.
I was just picking.
Please tell me you've got the. Have you got the one? They eat the poo poo.
No, I don't have that one.
Oh, you
Find
gotta
that
get
one.
one.
And if you're gonna do the one that I'm sorry, I love that meme, but one that trumps the "Why are you gay" is the Ice-T one.
Never heard
That
that. What
means
is
you're
it?
gay. Like Teriak, do you know what I'm talking about?
I got news for you. Because it's basically like some guys talking to Ice-T, and he's
Uh-huh.
like,
He goes,
I have
I'm not gay. I have relationships with
sex
women,
with
but I have
women
sex
and
with
sex
men.
with men. And he
Ugh.
goes to Ice-T, I got news for
I
you.
got news for
That
you.
means you're
That means
gay.
you're gay. Like, that's the best one ever. Ice-T just drops it. I love that.
I'm a white guy, and I'm ready to kill.
That's for you.
Post it in the chat. Wait, sorry, I got a lot of things going on. Yeah, I posted the thing, Bob, in chat. I got news for you. That means you're gay.
Okay, cool.
But
Let's
that
see.
got played so much that sometimes, like, I heard a while back they were copyright striking people for it.
Aw.
But that was a while back. I think it's fine now.
How about this one?
I'm here to date your 6-year-old.
Fucking hell.
More Alex Jones. Definitely more Alex Jones.
Yeah, why not?
I will eat your ass.
Hold on.
I'll eat your ass. I will. I will eat your ass. I will eat your ass first.
Nice.
Oh, God.
That's Alex Jones.
Gotta have a good scream one.
Yeah. Let's see.
When things get hot, I like it. I
Huh?
like it.
Whenever Grace is around.
Please never know.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm out of control. I apologize for that.
No. Let's see.
They turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Yeah.
That's a staple. That's a
Yeah.
staple.
We need that one.
My superpower is
Sorry,
being
have you
honest.
got-
I will eat my neighbors.
I was gonna say, Tarek, have you got a soundboard of Grace
Oh.
trying to sound sexy?
What can I say, man? Like in terms of, like I said, the show, I think it'd be like good dynamic to have. But it's like I said, she's kind of like she's well trained. She's talented at what she does. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of risk, but it's kind
You're
of
a
like
very generous guy. I wouldn't want to
But
say
that's what I'm saying.
Right, okay.
You gotta have risk to make it big. You know what I mean? And I think this show could be big, but like I said, it's kind of a month down the line at least, or more kind of time to get used to the whole kind of like live streaming thing and all that. You know what I mean? More kind of like fun with Kat. You know what I mean?
What?
I need to do kind of like more fun shit with Kat. You know what I mean? To get used to the whole live
We
streaming.
need to come up with some ideas too, because I'm running low.
Yeah, like don't worry. Like I said, I've got like some theories. Like here's a question, right, Kat? Why do women ask a question before they want to ask for something? You know what I'm saying?
Explain. Give me an example.
So like,
Can I ask you something?
yeah, it should be like, yeah, can I ask you a question? Why not just ask the question?
Because she's nervous.
No, because it's this pressure situation that you do. Because like women don't face rejection, and they intentionally go out of their way to avoid rejection. You know what I mean? So it's like they won't actually ask for the thing first. They'll ask like, "Can I ask a question?" So then they'll be like, "Okay." You know what I'm saying? Like there's this whole aspect to it because it's like for example, like your girlfriend would like ask you like, "Oh, what are you doing later?" Rather than go to, like, do you want to go for dinner, or like, can I suck your balls or something like that? Do you know what I mean? Whereas
Yeah.
like, they always kind of like phrase it in some like ambiguous, like non-needed first question rather than just asking the question straight up.
Yeah, I think for that case, they probably want you to ask them to hang out with them. They don't want to ask you, do you want to hang out with me?
That makes no sense.
Because
Why can't women?
they don't want to be the pursuers.
They don't want to get rejected. That's what I'm saying.
No,
And this
they
is
also don't want to be the pursuers. They want to know that they're wanted.
yeah, because if you pursue, there's the risk of rejection. If you never pursue, like all a
But
woman has.
this is the feminization of men that's going on, though.
Exactly. Look at this feminized man here. You see this?
Me,
No,
what,
but
me?
this is the no, no, no. But this is what dating sites. This is what dating sites and dating apps have done to men without men realizing it. It's feminized you.
Yeah.
Because think about it, women were the attractors, right? They never set out to be the attractors, but they just were. Because the whole point is when men who don't want to admit the women are the gatekeepers, right? The reason why they don't want to admit it is because they think that gives women power. It doesn't give women power. If you're the gatekeeper of sex, or if you're the gatekeeper of a relationship, that doesn't mean that you have the power. The power is in the other person's hand. Because think about it, if you're going to be the stronger or the braver or the tougher or the kind of like whatever person, you're the one who has to go out there and claim or get what you want, right? And you have to be strong because you have to risk rejection. So that means that you've got to be braver, because if women are the gatekeepers, they can shut the door on you, right? And then you that's embarrassing, right? So you have to be brave to take the risk of rejection. But what dating apps have done is that any men who grew up with dating apps, they never risk rejection. Think about it. You just look at pictures and you swipe and you swipe and you swipe. And if you match, it tells you. And you've never had to face going up to a woman, looking her in the face and getting rejected. So all of these guys never grew up without ever having to demonstrate that strength, ever having to learn how to become brave, ever having to take those risks. And then when the situation changes and they're in a social situation with a girl who's beautiful, they just sit there like a window licking fucking retard, not knowing what to do. And they suddenly realize that they're socially retarded, they're awkward as fuck, and they don't know how to approach a woman. Kat, where did you go?
What?
Facts. And like I said,
See-
it is kind of like I said, this whole thing of like a guy not even being comfortable around like angry women. That's why it's like my kind of main suggestion is like just get comfortable around angry women, because once you're comfortable around angry women, like there's nothing you can say that'll ever make you fear. Because even with there was like some guy called Eugene, I think, was on like stream like last week, and it was like basically kind of like I kept asking like what you fear about a woman, like what is she gonna do? You know what I mean? Laugh in her face. You know what I mean? She's a goofy one. It is what it is. So like I said, it's always been able to get over that whole kind of like fear of rejection is an innate part of it. Speak to what you were saying, Damon. It's like all these factors where it's like men are being feminized, and it's like near across the board. But it's like no one, like anytime someone tries to talk about and all this stuff, it's like it gets brought down as like, oh, you're homophobic or some weird shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like when, like the LGBT and all that kind of stuff, the people who identify as that, like there's like the 20% of like the younger generation basically is identifying as that, whereas like it used to be only like 5 to 10%. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's a huge kind of
But
like
this is the thing, like this is again, this is this kind of this weakness. How many times? I mean, I've been asked to watch certain videos. Hey, watch this. We're going to talk about this. And you know, one of the things that I see everybody throwing around, iron sharpens iron, man. And it's these guys patting each other on the back like they did something strong or like they did something tough. You sat down and you spoke about some shit. And now you're going to say iron sharpens iron. Jesus Christ, if this is the standard we're going to set, and this is the expectation that we have of people kind of trying to prove that they're being somehow tempered in some way and therefore growing stronger. Jesus Christ. I mean, it is shocking because it just goes to show like people don't really understand what it means to kind of genuinely test yourself. And the same goes for people throwing around the accusation of homophobia or whatever. Like somebody criticizes you, or not necessarily even criticizes you, but simply says that's gay. And all of a sudden you say, you're a homophobe. No, I just said that that's gay. Like I didn't even say it in a disgusted way, right? But you take offense to it and you think someone's a homophobe. Even if I was disgusted by it, even if the thing genuinely was gay, let's say it's a video of two guys having sex and I say that's gay, right? And
How dare
let's say I
you.
say it and I'm slightly disgusted. like, what's wrong with disliking something? Do you think gay people look at heterosexual people having sex and think it's a wonderful, great thing? No, they're just as freaked out as straight people are watching gay people have sex. Not even freaked out, but just disgusted, just like, oh man, why would you do that? I can look at a guy fucking a girl in the ass and think, why the fuck would you do that? You've got a hole that's 100 times better, just a couple of inches north. Why did you pick that one? That's like you've got a wonderful swimming pool that you could dive into, and then you've got a septic tank, and you decide to jump into the septic tank. Like, and I'm gonna be concerned. I'm gonna say, why would you do that? But God, people can not like things. It's not a problem to dislike something, for fuck's sake.
And this is what I'm saying. These are the conversations that need to be had on my show, Damon. You know what I mean? Because
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
Teriak.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
on
saying?
his
'Cause
show.
yeah, basically on my show, because like Cat's a bit too like feminine and all this shit. But like as men, we need to be able to
Talk about-
have these informational and
Is Cat
I
having a breakdown? Cat,
I
you
dare
okay?
say inspirational conversations.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Some people just want to watch the world burn, as they say.
I got news for you.
That means you're gay.
Jesus Christ, I was saying it like Tyson instead of Ice-T. I got news for you. That means you're gay.
But for real though, like I said, it's there is like a lot to like talk about and a whole kind of like dating aspect and all that kind of stuff. But like the whole kind of vibe with Kat with the conspiracies, and then like Jake with the politics and all the stream we had yesterday as well. I think just a very good kind of like vibe or kind of range of different things to do. So like I said, there's always stuff to talk about, but there's that kind of dynamic as well where like I don't want to kind of be kind of like piggybacking off one area or the other as well, Kat. So it's like conspiracy is one thing, demons, even like the health stuff that we're talking about today. You know what I mean? Like I for me personally, at least, I just find at least the like maybe just like not carnivore specifically, but just like that whole kind of aspect of trying to make sure that you're hitting all your health and all that kind of stuff. That's one thing. Getting into the whole Damon's cooking show, that's another thing as well. You know what I mean? Maybe that's
Oh God.
you know what I mean? Be excuse to get to turn him on the camera, so then at least like maybe not he's on the camera, but at least the food is. He's maybe cooking some steak or something like that in the background. Different things like that. Do you know what I mean? So I said that there's a wide range there. But yeah, it's just about kind of like bullet pointing out the ideas.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that'd be cool. That'd be cool to do. Especially if you're going to be doing it the way Patrice was doing it.
Oh yeah, like my show thing, like that, like that's going to be the main thing, because, and like I said, that's why like the likes of Grace, 'cause, like she'll want to talk for like 10 minutes basically, so then it's like get her in line, and then we move on to the callers, maybe introduce one of them. But it's like I said, it's that whole kind of.
And I'll be polite. I'm going to be the polite me, not the. I can let loose here a little bit. I'm not going to be as polite as I am with people like Jake, for example. So I don't know why I let loose here. I think it's because Kat is so polite. I think that I can't match Kat's politeness. Normally, I'm like a lot more reserved, like Kat is.
Oh man, like we're going to be going wild. There's not going to be this like the whole TOS shit. Like TOS is getting thrown out the window. I'm willing to risk, a couple of streams getting pulled, purely because we were willing to at least go across the line or to explore in terms of that avenue. But like I said, there's multiple shit. Like even like I said, like even just like one topic could be, it's like I done the carnivore diet and I literally shit my brains out. Here's some evidence, some pictures, and like we're this. Because
No,
shit is funny.
I heard you talking about how you're going to talk with the girls and the reality that you're going to hit them with.
Yes.
And I'm just saying, in that respect, I'll still be savage as fuck. You know me.
Oh.
I'll just do it in a very polite.
Oh, you guys want to
I'll be
end
like,
the stream?
Oh shit! Yeah, actually, we might as well. Cat's here, kind of like, guys. We're still streaming. Yeah, we can end it here.
Okay, hold on. I want to put this. See if it works. Where is it? There you go.